my wife went on a business trip to Washington, D.C. And I thought I'd tag along, hoping that things might get a little sexy. Cause when you have a lot of kids, it's hard to find some time alone. You've got to work to have relations and to build a happy home. So we find a babysitter and we book ourselves a flight. Then we fly across the country in the middle of the night. And as we finally make it to our room after taking the red eye, I'd like to take her in my arms and take it slow. But we're way too tired. Oh, it's a private vacation with just you and me. I'd like to take you to a place where we can finally be free. In the birthplace of our nation, our founding fathers see that there's no place sexier than Washington, D.C. After sleeping until noon, I wake to find my wife already gone. It's a business trip after all, and she's got to go attend the conference. So it is up to me to find a way to entertain myself, cause I am too impatient waiting here in this hotel. And after whipping out my phone to ask Google what to see, I'm flush with museums here in Washington, D.C. So I spend all day learning about our nation's past, thinking, hey, if they can do it, our relationship can last. I get back, mind blown, my wife says she's in the mood. So I pull her in close and tell her what I'd like to do. Let me take you to a place where we can have a lot of fun and where the party's just begun. I'm talking the Smithsonian. Let me take you to a place where the body's on display and the strokes take you away. I'm talking about the portrait gallery. Let me take you to a place where you're bound to come alive when you see what's there inside. I'm talking about the National Archives. Let me take you to a place where your fantasies unravel on your lore. You're my vassal, yeah, I'm talking about the Smithsonian Castle. Let me take you to a place that's really got a lot of heart with lots of knowledge to impart. I'm talking the Smithsonian National Museum of African Art.
I don't want to get in trouble for making any jokes here, so...
Oh, let me take you to a place where we can do some exploration with our bodies on the case. I'm talking the Museum of Aerospace. Oh, let me take you to a place much like original sin, walking through temptation. I'm talking about the sculpture garden. Oh, let me take you to a place where they can't keep us apart and you won't know where to start. I'm talking the Museum of Modern Art. Oh, let me take you to a place where there is not a lot of mystery. Every struggle was a victory. I'm talking about the National Museum of American History. Let me take you to a place where we can have a lot of fun, where we can finally be one. I'm talking the Smithsonian.
Holy crap, there's just so much walking.
In a world of remakes and remasters,
are we playing for keeps?
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Radical.
Gone are the days of pods and cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things, and it's called Best Gen because we're all roughly from the same gen. happen to think that it's the best. Not because we're better than you, but because our entertainment certainly was. So strap on in and prepare to wax nostalgia because we reminisce upon the days of yore while complaining about the horrible crap I had to watch this week.
Indeed.
I'm massively depressed because of everything I saw, and we're gonna complain about it, baby. Thanks for tuning in. We've got the Nerdporio Life Forum on the show.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it because I have a lot to say. Watching this, I watched 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds. I broke my own rules for the sake of this stream. So yeah, I got a lot to say. Let's say it reopens some old wounds, especially how it disregards the original series.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't. So I haven't watched any of Strange New Worlds. I literally just tuned in for this episode, and we are gonna talk about it. And we've got the second half of Good Omens to talk about.
I didn't finish it. I didn't care.
Oh my
Your
god.
audio is a bit quiet.
Mine?
Yeah. Is anybody else coming in?
I hope I'm doing fine with the audio.
Everybody else sounds great.
All right.
Check.
I think it's better now.
How do I sound?
Everybody else sounds fine.
Just me?
Just my bro.
Is that better? I can just turn it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just on my end. I guess Mark Clark doesn't notice.
I haven't changed. Oh, there we go. There was that should be better, right?
Yeah, way better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't. My gain was way down, but it hadn't told me yet.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't know what's going on. My computer just like randomly turns my gain all the way down. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little bit late. This time it was David's fault. He had internet problems. We should have a couple more guests, our regulars tuning in, but we've got some wonderful people in the chat. Mark Clark, our channel member, wonderful man. If you want to become a channel member, it's just 99 cents, baby. And you can get emojis. It's great. Also, we've got Nerdporio in the chat. He's on the show. William Richards, let's go, boys.
Mm-hmm.
The intro was a little sneak peek of it's not done yet. The sexy vacation song. It's kind of a sequel to the Harry Potter Saved My Marriage song. I still need to do all of the subtitles, and that takes a long time.
It does.
And
How are you guys doing?
It was better than all of the music from Subspace Rhapsody.
Way better.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that was.
I have a weakness. I like 80s power ballads. So
yeah.
A few of the songs I actually liked. If you take the Star Trek out of it,
if you take it out of context, sure, they were decent.
Yeah.
Uhura actually, she at least has lungs, right?
Yeah, I mean,
she has a good voice.
It matches up with
Uhura.
Who's Hura?
She was
the black lady.
The black.
I thought her voice was decent.
I know it's hard to figure out which one she is because she doesn't look like her character from the series, but that's Lieutenant Uhura. Or I guess she's not a lieutenant yet.
Nichelle Nichols was a singer, and there were two 2 episodes where she sang. There was the Charlie X where she's singing. Spock is playing the Vulcan harp, and she's singing about Charlie, and Charlie gets embarrassed. And you know what he does? Because he's all powerful and he's a jerk. He takes her voice away. You see, they do a close up of his eyes. That's when you know he's using his power. And she's like,
interesting.
I would say, in my opinion, and I'm a professional singer, so I know what I'm talking about. She is the worst singer in the freaking show. The amount of autotune alone, Jesus Christ, the Lord.
Yeah. I will say, Lord. To her credit, though, she is. The autotune was up the wazoo for her song, but she is the only person in the entire cast for the entire episode that projected.
Right.
Every other song they were doing whisper singing, which is what you do when you don't know how to sing.
Yeah,
and it felt super out of place because it automatically like switched to this studio recording of them.
It's
whisper singing.
horrible.
It's
And
so
it was
bad.
awful. It
Yeah,
was so bad.
it's so obvious. Good
So-
evening, Jacob. I saw that you just made 200, man. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Ironside.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally missed the super chat. Mark Clark, thank you so much. You started Lightbringer series. Well, you got to finish it in 2 weeks. If you want to watch the live stream.
Or
Are
you
you
Well,
on track
we'll-
to finishing
Oh
the
my.
series in 2 weeks?
When we talk about it, we'll segment it so you can tune out once we get to spoilers.
I forget who wrote Lightbringer.
Brent Weeks.
Brent Weeks.
Brent.
I'm
Weeks.
halfway through book 4.
My
Because
boy is
It's a
on
lot
the
shorter.
chat.
It's a lot shorter.
You mind if I
Book
show
four.
My brother.
some book porn?
Yeah.
So I gotta. I
Nice.
promised to do a book review video. I've never done a book review video ever, but I promised to do one for this because I'm on Prophet of the Dragons unhype, and we have some actual Wheel of Time fans who like the books but don't like the show.
Yeah.
So so I kind of have to put some Wheel of Time content out there.
Yeah.
I mean that's what that's what Pips wants me to do. He wants my channel to become he has dreams that I'm going to eventually become a Wheel of Time channel and nothing else. So
There you go.
Yeah. Corwin said he was going to pop in for like 30 minutes on the show. He just finished reading The Eye of the World and he loved it and he wants to talk about it.
Nice.
it's a shame that it's a shame that they couldn't put anything all the great parts of Eye of the World in season 1
Right.
Or any of it.
or exactly any of it. All the parts I don't really care for.
Yeah.
I got a lot of books this week too. I got my Isum Numero Dos.
Oh, nice.
Horrible glare. Angle it down. And I finally got, oh gosh, I got the entire Ultimate X-Men run from the 2000s.
Oh wow.
That's
It's heavy.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was the first couple issues were Mark Miller, really good stuff, and I've got to show my favorite panel in all of comics.
Yeah.
This one. So these were the books that David and I had in the library.
It was mostly Ultimate X-Men and Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man. So I've got the first chunk of Ultimate Spider-Man back there. And halfway through this series, you get Gambit, baby. Oh yeah. Okay. And up until this point, obviously, because I'm a boy, Wolverine was the greatest superhero of all time. And Gambit fights him in this one. And spoilers, sorry guys. The greatest panel in comic book history. Wolverine lunges at Gambit, and Gambit grabs his claws and starts charging up his claws and says, "Bro, I'm gonna blow you up from the inside out." And then he shoves his magic staff in his mouth and explodes. There might be some parallels there. I love that panel so much.
Good stuff.
And I never read the full series. I've heard it gets kind of silly at the end. I don't care. I got them. Those are...
Pretty awesome.
That's my comic book stuff this week. David got a whole bunch of comics too.
I did. I've been kind of going crazy trying to collect some of the original X-Men and Spider-Man and Daredevil.
Oh, I want that one too.
The only blemish on this is here.
Yeah.
But the white cloaks sell stickers that you can cover that up with.
Yeah, I have to find a way to get one because
That's pretty awesome.
This is like this. I mean, I don't know what's worse, the taint of Sidene or this.
I think they're
open it up. Show us the panel. The artwork in that is incredible.
All right. So
How far did they get with the graphic novel, though?
They just did the first book.
Okay.
I think did they also do New Spring?
I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is Luz, Theron, Telamon becoming healed by the betrayer of hope himself.
Oh, it's
And
so
so you
good.
can
That's
see
good art.
he's yeah. So yeah, they got that, and I didn't know. See, in the book it just says he travels, but apparently he accesses a door, which I didn't know. It just says he travels, so I assume he just beams up. At least that's how I comprehended it. Maybe it's the Star Trek taint in my soul right now.
Oh,
I don't know what it is.
Traveling in the Wheel of Time, they cut a door into space, and they just
Yeah.
walk through it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the alternate worlds in let's say the second book. I'm curious if Robert Jordan was a Star Trek
slightly
fan.
different, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious if Robert Jordan watched enough Star Trek to get to get these ideas. So hey, he put a little sci-fi. He put some interesting concepts into fantasy that I mean,
He did, yeah.
Elder Scrolls. You know, I mean, a lot of games now. I'm sure have used ideas from Wheel of Time and
I heard actually one contentious argument that sci-fi is just fantasy, but in the middle, you know, in the past, I guess.
Modern sci-fi, yes.
Yeah, modern sci-fi.
Classic
yes.
sci-fi was very different.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Sven, how are you doing? Nice to finally see you again.
Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Yeah, so the one consolation that made this week better is that I watched a whole bunch of TNG, which really helped cope with with the abuse I had to suffer through, and of course I binged an entire book of Lightbringer.
But let's actually destroy that episode because I'm
Okay.
like, I like
Subspace Rhapsody, baby.
Should we get into
First
it?
the name.
you guys haven't watched any of Strange New Worlds either, right?
You didn't have to. Like,
Okay,
you didn't have to.
We need Jared. I know he watched season 1, but
Mhm.
I got halfway. I got halfway through season 1 because I was curious about the show. I was curious if they would do. Now I'll say this: Strange New Worlds is a improvement to Discovery.
Yes.
Whereas Discovery, especially season 2. Whereas,
But come on, that's like
2, yeah. I mean, it's the same how I feel. I mean, comparing season 3 of Picard to the earlier seasons.
Right. It's an
they're
improvement.
Improvements, but it's like it doesn't even add up to what made the older shows, even Enterprise and Voyager, which are the weaker of the original 5 shows.
Yeah.
Those look way better. Like I mean, maybe the fact that they were episodic really helps. So there were some not so great episodes, or some very mediocre episodes of the earlier seasons of Voyager and Enterprise and TNG. But there were good episodes. There were also some really good gems that made up for it. That's the beauty of having an episodic show. And I mean, they weren't like horribly awful to the point where I hate myself for watching this. Whereas you have shows like Picard and Strange New Worlds and Discovery that basically there's no direction. The characters are unlikable. There's the storylines make no sense. The decisions they make no sense. The dialogue, I like science, or that's the power of math, people. You didn't hear stupid dialogue like that in early Trek. Early Trek was actually written to be a little bit much smarter than that, and actually, challenged you on a lot of things. And it made me. I'll be honest, early Star Trek, made me want to learn more about the classics. Made me want to learn more about philosophy, psychology, classic literature, like
Definitely.
Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan quotes Moby Dick quite a bit.
Yes.
Khan, and then on Kirk's side, they're quoting Tale of Two Cities. I did read Tale of Two Cities in school, but those are 2 classics that are timeless in my opinion. And of course they've referenced other classics that I think that has made me interested that I've never been interested before, because our beautiful, well, in my case, Chicago public school education.
The original series in TNG, it can get a little corny sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
It gets a little hammy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the concepts are always solid, and even the acting is better. Obviously the effects totally suck, right?
Ah,
But it's
compared that to
so,
She-Hulk.
It's compared to She-Hulk. Yeah, look, it's very
Or
dated. It's
Secret-
very dated, and I can understand why people might be, a little off-put watching the original series in TNG. But the stories are so good. Like I literally don't care about any of the negatives because the story's good and the concepts make you think. My favorite part, Mexican and I have both been watching TNG, and I think it's episode 2 of season 1. Is with the black guys, right?
Code of Honor episode. That's episode
Code of Honor.
4.
Code of Honor.
That's
Episode 4. Okay, it was like one of the first episodes I watched. Code of Honor. Watching that episode alone, I was like, "This is why new Star Trek sucks."
Mhm.
Because the whole moral of that episode is, hey, we have come across a culture of aliens that are very different from us, and from our perspective, it's very primitive, and they're doing things backwards in a way that we don't think is morally right, and it's the Prime Directive, right? They mentioned the Prime Directive like 50 times, saying, but because of the Prime Directive, we are not allowed to interfere with their culture, and we are not allowed to judge their morality based on our perspective.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I'm like, that is everything wrong with New Trek, and with just progressivism in general. Is we're looking back at our great heroes like Christopher Columbus and George Washington and judging them by today's standards, saying, well, George Washington lived in a world where slavery was okay, and that means he's an evil person. It's just so ignorant.
Right.
Yeah, it's the most ignorant thing. I mean, that's childish thinking.
Mhm.
I mean, time to. I mean, and the problem is colleges are enabling this type of behavior.
Right.
And it's not right. And
how
that shit leads to decadence.
How
in
prideful
society.
do you have to be, though, to assume that if you lived back in those times, that you would be the one who knew better than everyone else?
Right.
Angry Mexicans got it perfully. It's
narcissism. Yeah. And the beautiful thing, and I know what specifically episodes you're talking about. You're talking about season 1, specifically the corny episode, where they get the virus and they all want to bang each other. And that okay, I was my friend Darplan.
There's another episode in season 1 where everyone's trying to bang each other too. Where they find.
I haven't made it that far. I think reading right here. I think I am at.
Are you talking about the
one where they
episode 2? Yeah, episode 3. The naked now.
Okay, yeah, that's actually it's a follow up to the original series. The original series had the Naked Time. That's one where you see George Takei, without a shirt on and sticking he has a foil. He has because he was big into fencing, and he's sticking his foil and he's sticking it at a couple of dudes. And dudes are running from him. I was just like, wow. Now, because we know where he leans in terms of.
Data is a beast. Data is a beast.
There's 2 words to describe that: fully functional.
But the first episode, like you were mentioning, and is the entire how does a show back then predicted basically the behavior that our new generation, the next generation, will feel or will behave like. The Q acting like all high and mighty, judging humans for their past, even when and the Picard lines are perfect.
you haven't even gotten to the drumhead in season 4.
And this is the episode. This is the episode that made me fall in love with. I didn't even know that writing like this was possible. I watched so many garbage.
And you're only on season 1, right?
Yeah, it's the worst season.
You need to skip ahead, watch the drumhead from season 4, and then go back to where you are.
No, I'm gonna binge watching. It's just I've been watching it with Darby and my boy in voice chat, And the thing is that we watch it because he explains to me, like he explained the whole thing about Q and how he, he goes after, and he appears afterwards, and it's a different type of situation with Q. But he's also like high and mighty, like this supreme being, not supreme being, but like this super advanced being that we don't have any comprehension on. Although my favorite episode, the funniest episode was the naked one. That was so funny. I was laughing the entire episode. I was making jokes left and right. I was
And I'll
like,
say this:
that
I think
is a
I
boss.
actually that's actually considered. I'll be honest. Season 1 is considered one of the weaker one of the weaker seasons.
The worst. Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe it is. I don't know. But there's a lot of episodes I do like, and there's some episodes that I don't like or don't.
Yeah, some of them
I don't,
get a little
I don't
slow.
dislike them. They're
Right.
just kind of boring. But like you said, Naked Now is not nearly as good in my opinion as the Naked Time from the first season of the original series. Like
Agreed.
that,
I didn't even.
that was the Naked Time was basically they're taken by this virus because one crewman decided to take off his gloves on a planet, and because of that he got hit by a virus, and he spread it just by touching people, and everybody started acting drunk and nuts. And the thing was, they were trying to study a planet decaying and the orbit decaying, and because they turned on the one idiot sealed himself in engineering because he was under the influence, and he shuts off the engines. They're all gonna die if they don't get out of orbit because the orbit keeps decaying. And they're going to be pulled into the atmosphere. So it just gets nuts, and it's like the whole episode is full of tension. It's stakes are high, and that was an episode. That's one of the earliest episodes where the crew just gets hit by this space thing, whether it's a virus or an entity or being under the influence of an entity or an anomaly. That's kind of how I thought of Subspace Rhapsody. So this one was supposed to be a subspace fold or something.
I guess, yeah, kind of. But I mean, we can get further down the road, like further down with the Rhapsody. But
Episode 8 from season
yeah.
1 is.
I'm just
called-
noticing everyone is so old. Jesus Lord, like I didn't even notice that this show was like back in the
Yeah.
day. I see the Diana. I was about to say because I was about to say, wait, Guppy Wahlberg is in this show. Oh no. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Well, her character Guinan is actually a really good character. Like I like her character. Like she gives Riker. Her and Riker have a scene in what's considered to be the best episode of the show that I'll never forget. It's about the idea of letting go, and this precedes the Revenge of the Sith by 13 years. So there you go. That's the original. Yeah, let this person go speech.
Imagine that.
It was episode 8 in season 1. It's called Justice. It's also very sexy.
What about remember Angel 1? That's the one with the 80s, the matriarchy.
I haven't gotten to that one yet. Yeah.
There's the matriarchy, and then they want to arrest a bunch of dudes who are a bunch of anarchists, but they all have the 80s hair. So once I saw the 80s, like the 80s power ballad hair, I was just like, I can't take this episode seriously. Now this is the definition of dated.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even
But, yeah.
Kristen Dunst was in this. I'm just like reading the entire like cast that was in this.
Even the ones though that get a little bit boring. So there've been a couple that are like, I just kind of just start looking at my phone a little bit, but I'm still listening.
Yeah.
I would take it any day over this filth of a.
Oh no, my beautiful Tasha Yar. She's so old.
Oh yeah, don't look how they look now.
But you have to understand that this came out in 87. First season came out in 1987. That was 36 years ago. That was 36 years ago. So people, I was only 3. I was only 3 years. I was not even 3 years old yet when this season 1 started. I was born late. I was born in November of '84. So there
I was -9. So.
Oh, you're young. You're youngin' then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the youngest of us. Yeah. So this this episode, start from the recap of the previous episodes. I was just rolling my eyes because the entire thing it didn't feel like Star Trek. It was all
It-
relationship drama. It was
Every
like
single scene in the previously on was some kind of
Yeah.
relationship crap.
It's like, what the
Yeah.
crap is this? This isn't
It's-
Star Trek.
It was a
it's-
CW,
it's-
like, oh, this character was in
Yeah.
love with this one, and now they're dating this one. But Susie found out that Brad likes Jared, and now he's a little bit jealous. That was the previously on segment.
And
I was
here-
waiting
here-
for
here-
the Gossip Girl, like you.
And here's the problem. You know who else is in a relationship? Spock and Nurse Chapel.
Yeah.
That is a fuck. Okay, I'm not. I can't.
It's all good.
That's a fucking problem, because if you watch the, I'm going to go back. The Naked Time. That's the episode where everybody gets drunk. Spock in his case, everyone's going crazy, acting drunk. In his case, he's acting emotional. He starts crying. And then we Nurse Chapel, that was the first episode where Nurse Chapel, Majel Barrett, the late Majel Barrett played her. You know what's funny is Majel Barrett played her, and she played number one. So you have both characters that she played as different actresses in Stranger Worlds, but that's beside the point. She says, "I'm in love with you, Mr. Spock." So Spock didn't know that she liked him. So how does having them in a relationship, how does giving Spock all these weird emotions? Whereas, I mean, you watch Leonard Nimoy as Spock. Yeah. He is totally like, he is totally
He's
stoic.
a rock.
Yeah, and exactly. and when you see him, like Wrath of Khan, he didn't show emotion. He didn't laugh and giggle and all that. You see him emotion when you see how he reacts to a cadet's death in Wrath of Khan. He just simply closes his eyes, and that's it. Yeah, and that tells you everything, and it's impactful.
It's not that having Spock in a relationship is bad. It's the way that it's handled. I mean, because obviously his dad, or his dad's Vulcan, his dad's right?
Vulcan.
Yeah, Sarah.
And his mom is like, exactly. Obviously, Vulcans have to reproduce. They get in relationships, but it's the way that it's portrayed. Every time he's on screen, he's talking about his emotions, and you're like, but.
You have Vulcans suppress their emotions.
That's
the Vulcan.
Makes them smarter.
If he's in a relationship, it needs to be a logical relationship, and that is what the Orville did so freaking well with the robot character and his relationship with the doctor. Isaac. It's like that's what Spock's relationship needs to be.
Right.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I mean, also in the original series, it was established that Spock was, I mean, maybe he was in a relationship before, I don't know, but he never was as emotional in a relationship before the episode This Side of Paradise. That's the one, and that's another episode where the entire crew is kind of under the influence of this alien, This time it's a bunch of flowers that poof spores at people. I think this was a commentary on the flower love movement, because hippies were a thing in the late 60s.
Flower power,
and flower power, drugs, and all that. They became a bunch of lazy. Like the crew became a bunch of lazy assholes who just didn't want to stay on the ship. They wanted to go onto the planet, even though the planet was orbiting a star that was spewing out radiation that would kill them, but apparently this influence protects them. But they're a bunch of lazy jerks that just they don't want to do anything, and the only way to get them out of it is to be violent. So Kirk invites Spock on board because he's the only one left on board the ship. He calls Spock a half-breed, and he calls his mother a computer, and his father a traitor for marrying a Vulcan, for marrying a human, and that pisses him off to the point where he just goes off and attacks Kirk, and then it works. Right. And he literally says at the end of the episode that even though he's no longer he will never forget the feelings he had, because he never had them before. He never was happy before that episode. And I'm assuming he was in a relationship with the female lead, the guest female lead in the episode, who was at that time was Charles Bronson's wife. And he didn't, Charles Bronson, Death Wish and Once Upon a Time in the West, badass, actor. I mean, like that was the actress that played her. And that was the first time Spock was in a relationship in my mind. So seeing this doesn't make sense with what original series already established.
Not only that, but he's a simp. He's a simp for the girl. The girl rejects him because he wants to be independent and powerful, strong woman. You know, he's like,
yeah, and Nimoy was never. Yeah, Nimoy Spock was never a simp. At least I don't.
Yeah,
yeah.
He was a baddie. He was a badass. Yeah.
I mean, he was because I mean, more women were attracted to Spock, to Nimoy, than they were to Kirk because of his mysteriousness.
Yeah,
that's what made him cool. That's what
he had the Vulcan be power.
I mean, even though 2009 Trek is, hasn't aged well with me because J.J. Abrams and all that, the highlight for me of that movie, and I still really enjoyed seeing it at the time, was seeing for the first time in my case, seeing Leonard Nimoy play Spock on the big screen. It
was cool to get to see him. Yeah, I mean, they did the same thing with Spock in those movies. They gave him a relationship and made it all emotional.
Yeah, and it says he ate bacon. Yeah, one thing about
with Uhura, right? Yeah,
yeah. So Uhura in The Man Trap, Nichelle Nichols, she kind of flirts with him. She's asking him all these questions, and Nimoy kind of shuts her down right away. Yep. Like she's trying to make him feel bad that he reacts indifferently when the plant surface, they call in the death of a crewman, and she's like, I don't believe it. That could be Captain Kirk, the closest thing you have to a friend. And he's just like, Lieutenant, my concern will not change what has happened. They will call me if they need my assistance. Go back to your station. Whereas if this was New Trek, they would be yelling at him, and he'd be like, and he wouldn't get a word in because he's not the captain. He's a friend boss. I call Pike a friend boss.
Do they ever even mention the Prime Directive in New Trek, or do they just go around judging people?
They probably. I mean, they do it when it's convenient. I'm sure they do.
Oh. But you are absolutely right. And not only the cutscenes, but every scene in this show that is not singing, and even the singing, most of the singing, by the way, is about relationships.
Yep.
Oh my lord!
Like the one. I mean, there's the one song that I actually kind of dug, but I hate the idea of it because it's stupid. Is La'an and Kirk? Okay, so. Or La'an, however you pronounce her freaking name. So La'an is a millennial. Okay, I'm gonna. This is how I'm gonna describe her character. La'an is a millennial character who hates her ancestry. Sound familiar? Yeah. You know who her ancestor is? Khan Noonien Singh, Ricardo Montalban. Because they literally bring it up in an episode. They literally bring it. She's like, I hate my ancestry and stuff because he was bad and all that. So.
Doesn't this happen before Khan?
Yeah.
This is the prequel, right?
This happens before the original series, so
it doesn't make sense. Why?
Yes.
So Kirk
exactly.
So Kirk has a fling with Khan's descendant.
Daughter.
Descendant, and then a decade later, or season 1 of the original series, you have Space Seed, where they find the Botany Bay, and Kirk has no idea who Khan is, or who Khan, or they find out eventually who Khan Noonien Singh is, and you're kind of like, okay, when they find out who Khan Noonien Singh is, he's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's La'an's ancestor, yeah, because I think she told me once, or maybe she didn't tell me, and this is so stupid. Like, I mean, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief for the prequels. How like somehow Vader's droids was Vader built C-3PO. I mean, I'm willing to set that aside, but this is fucking ridiculous.
Was La'an in the original series? I don't. There's too many. There's like the
La'an. No.
Right. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna say.
I know.
Dude,
there's just it's a huge ensemble. It's hard to remember which ones were actual characters and which ones are not.
The choices they made for this is the dumbest shit I've ever. When I heard who they were announcing for cast, I'm like, why the hell are they doing this? There's the first episode, the very first pilot, The Cage, is based off of this crew: Captain Pike, number 1, Mr. Spock. Where the hell is Dr. Boyce? Where's Ensign Jose Tyler? Where's where's the transporter chief?
Yeah.
Where's Yeoman? I forget the redheaded yeoman that beams down to the planet with them.
Why is Carol?
There was a
why is Carol Kane in the show?
because Cloris Leachman's dead. They need someone who sounds German. I mean that's who
Look,
like,
I really like Carol Kane. She's fantastic in in The Princess Bride. She's done wonderful work.
She was in The Princess Bride?
The accent, yeah, she's the liar.
Oh, that was her?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that was her.
Yeah,
The only old
I'm not a
person.
witch, I'm your wife.
The only old person in the cast, yeah.
She was grandma in Addams Family Values.
Look, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
The accent that she's doing in this episode, I guess for the whole show, is the worst thing I have ever heard. I genuinely, she was talking, I was like, I don't know what that accent is supposed to be.
Yeah,
Apparently
I
it's
thought it was American.
I thought it was German.
I have no idea what she's going for.
She's an alien. She's an alien that's lived thousands of years, according to this episode.
Oh,
or maybe it was the. You know what? I have to admit, I didn't just watch this episode. I watched the Lower Decks crossover episode.
No.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'll be honest, that episode was better, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus.
Well,
look, I like her, but man, she was awful in this.
Not only that, too, is I noticed she has a very distinctive voice. Like even if she's talking in the weird accent, you can pick out her voice, right? They cut her out of her audio out of the musical number.
Yes,
like,
you cannot hear her.
There's three of them singing. You can hear the other two distinctively. You can't hear her at all.
She only sings once, and it's when they're singing all together, and she only says like a one-liner that's supposed to be a joke, but it's not funny. And that's it. Because she feels like she smoked a carton of cigarettes every day for 50 years. Like,
Can we talk about just how dumb the plot of this episode is too? Though they find a thing in space and they put music into it because Spock suggests it for reasons, and then it makes everyone turn into a musical because it's an alternate dimension where everything's a musical.
Yeah, but they are playing a musical from the 60s, on the 70s. And now they're singing In the Heights type,
First off,
Miranda. Is
they
Miranda
they basically they steal like the improbability drive from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Which is it's funny, but it's a joke. It's not supposed to be serious, and they take that and try and make it serious, and so everyone's doing a musical, and then they don't know what's going on, so they're trying to figure it out. And Uhura is the only smart person in the entire crew, and so she has to search to find a pattern. And her and Spock together can't find a pattern. There's no pattern to this. I can't understand it. And then by herself, she figures out the solution is to sing louder.
Yep.
All together, and they're going to blow
a grand finale.
You couldn't find that pattern?
Yeah. And for some reason, the
pattern, that's literally just a single reading.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
and not only that, but the whole thing with the singing.
Why would doing something? Why would doing it more fix the problem?
When you actually go think about the whole singing thing, I know it's space BS, I know it's space BS, and Star Trek has a lot of space BS, whatever, but it doesn't make sense because first of all, but
if they wanted to,
for example, is this thing controlling their mind, making them sing? And my question is can they listen to the music, or is the music just coming out of their mouth? How are they singing in tune, perfectly in tune, like their music was there, and then when they show the recording, the music is playing while they are singing? So I don't understand, where is the music coming from? The music coming out of their ears? Is it coming out of the freaking
music just starts
ambient
out of nothing? And they start singing to it.
The wave, I don't know. It's like the wave encompassed all of them. Maybe it took over. I don't know. Honestly,
and then the wave spread through their communicators to the rest of Starfleet?
Apparently so.
Yeah, like how? Like a micro radio? What?
Because his wife starts singing to him?
No,
it
it
made
was
absolutely
Klingon.
It made absolutely no sense. That's why I turned off the episode halfway when I first watched it, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want to disappoint technically Mexican, and so I finished the episode, and oh my god, like the Klingons,
the finale.
my Klingons.
Lord.
So you go from Kabla to Justin Bieber. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. No, it's terrible. You gonna play the segment?
To this?
I'll be honest though, they look like Klingons here, because if you watch Discovery season 1 and 2, they look like freaking orcs. Like
oh my lord!
Like they are trying to improve themselves. They need a new writers' room. They need new
Somebody
producers.
put the Klingons to the sun. I want to take you to a brief.
You got to get rid of these producers. You got to get rid of these writers.
That's not far from the truth, Mark.
Yes, can you hear this?
Just go ahead and play it.
What is this?
Pause it. Oh my lord!
We're saying.
It's
I love the dancing.
Weekend?
I love the dancing. It's so good. It's so good. This is my favorite new thing.
There are like cowboys. Are there NPCs in TikTok?
The only one,
like cowboy girl. Jesus, my lord!
Yeah.
And is the Weekend they invited? Like, why is the singing so badly? Like, this is not hard to sing? Go ahead.
Yeah. It completely shifts. Like he's talking in a gruff, like, Klingon macho voice, and then all of a sudden he's like you said, Justin Bieber.
Like this is so stupid. I mean,
it didn't fit into the grand finale either musically. No. It was horrible.
It didn't.
I don't know.
It's also incredibly inconsistent with how they do the musical. Most of the time, it was super boring. They were just singing and talking the whole time. Which there's more to a musical than just singing the words that you're saying, right? And that's how it felt most of the time until the very, very end, and people started breaking out and dancing. And so it kind of felt like they didn't want to commit to making this a musical thing.
Look, so
it's super weird.
But I hate the concept at its core, right? For what it's doing to Star Trek, right? But when I was getting ready to watch the episode, I was thinking, look, if there's one thing that these psychopaths are good at, right? If there's one thing that, homosexuals are good at, it should be it should be writing musical theater, right? Like that's what they're really good at it. And so I was like, I'm gonna hate it. I know I'm gonna hate it, but maybe I might enjoy the music at the very least. I hated every single song. There wasn't a single song. There wasn't a single song that was musically impressive to me.
Yeah, I hate modern. Like I love musicals. But I hate modern musicals because they are trash. They are trying so hard to be hip hop. They are trying so hard to be pop. They are trying so hard to copy the things of the past, but doing it in a completely moronic, modernistic way. So this is the epitome. I don't know if that's the word, but this is what modern musicals are, and this is why I hate guys like Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's garbage, absolute garbage, freaking garbage.
Make your blood scream.
Make your blood scream.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, what?
So I had some thoughts as I was watching this. One, it's a ridiculous premise, and you probably shouldn't have Star Trek be a musical in the first place. But
what if you do? Make it good music.
No. If you were gonna do that though, there's a couple ways that you could make it make sense, at least within the universe, right? And for me, it was the two different ways you could go about doing it. One,
the Borg.
It's a virus type of thing that takes over your mind or whatever, and it just compulses you to sing, and you sing, but the music doesn't just play out there, right? It's all happening in your mind, and you just start singing, but you don't realize that you're singing. So you break out the song, do this musical number, do whatever, and you're like, what was that? And you're like, I don't know what he's talking. I just said that the thrusters.
you know what I compared. You know what I compare this to? You guys ever watch Family Guy? You guys ever watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
Obviously,
There was an
Love it.
episode where Peter wishes that he had his own theme music. So every time
Yeah.
he walked, theme music would play. That's what I think of this stupid episode. But the thing is, Family Guy way better than this.
There actually could have been an interesting sci-fi premise roped into this, in that, like, it's some kind of virus that, similar to the Naked Now, it removes your inhibitions and you just say what you're thinking. And that could cause a whole ton of problems, and that could have been very interesting.
Exactly.
And that's what they kind of tried to do.
Was there any weight? Was there any stakes in this besides this improbable?
But other than relationship drama, no.
Yeah, no. Like the only stakes was like they were like outing themselves as horny dudes and simps. Basically saying that, oh no, I'm sharing my secrets with my wife.
Tell the guy that I like him in song.
I'm saying to my wife that she's a bitch.
I guess there's kind of the threat of the Klingons that they were also mad that everyone was singing. But other than
the private conversation song was so bad.
So
bad. The one with Pike and the other captain on the bridge, and
his wife or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think they're married.
Okay, I don't know. I don't watch the show. I think they were married. Okay,
whatever.
They were talking about going on vacation. I thought that was a marriage. I'm sorry that I have high morals, and I assume that anyone sleeping together, it's because they're married.
Like I have zero. I mean, like, I'll be honest. Anson Mount looks the part. He looks a lot like Jeffrey Hunter. He's got the look, but the stuff that they give him, he is not Pike. Kirk. I mean, Kirk is a badass. All right, so William Shatner's Kirk is a badass. Pike isn't even a harder badass than Kirk, in my opinion. Yeah. Like in the Menagerie, he's disabled. That's ultimately what his future is. He gets disabled for saving cadets. So he's stuck in a wheelchair. He can't think. He can't. I mean, he can think. He just can't. He can't talk and he can't communicate. Nobody can communicate with him. And like, he would not put up with this shit. This Pike, or the Anson Mount's Pike, has no control over what's going on. You see his facial features. He's just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. That's not how a captain is. That's not how a Starfleet captain is.
He's always doing like the meme. He's always like, like.
Yeah, I'm like, step up and act like a captain. Like, come on. I mean,
that's all he does in the entire vacation.
Yeah, it's so disappointing because, like, I don't know, maybe it's because I want to like Star Trek. I want to like Picard. That's why I watched season 3, because of all the hype that it got. This was another series that was just that disappointed me. I mean, the fact that they disregarded continuity. They disregarded the original series. Where's Dr. Boyce? Dr. Boyce, the old white doctor. Why is this Dr. Mabanga, who was one of McCoy's...
He was in like 2 episodes or something like that, right?
Of the original series. And he was one of McCoy's specialists. Why are you making him the chief medical officer? So what happens? Does McCoy use his white privilege to take over? Or is Kirk actually a bigot? And that's why he prefers...
Come on. You know the answer to the question. Why Dr. Mabanga is the main doctor. You know.
I mean, I wouldn't
here's the thing.
The way they paint Kirk in this episode.
Why is Uhura in the show? Why is Uhura?
Because they need a black
one. You had Lieutenant Alden. He was black. He was in Where No Man Has Gone Before. He was the previous communications officer.
Wait, Uhura's in the show?
Uhura was not in.
I didn't see anyone that looked like Uhura. Who are you talking about?
Well, okay, all right, fine, fair.
Yeah, the girl with the freaking the worst haircut that I've seen in my life, the worst hairline
with the waves.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, what is that?
Okay, so Mark, you're talking about rewatching the DS9. When I was watching Picard season 3, the way they handled the shapeshifters and the way they handled everything in that show, like, I had to rewatch Deep Space Nine. I was rewatching some of the early Dominion War episodes, and those are miles better than just the episode Rocks and Shoals, where they're on the planet and they're engaged with a Jem'Hadar unit that's ran out of its Ketracel White, and they make a deal with the Vorta commander saying, I ran out of the White. and they are going to kill everything if you don't, do something. So, and they tell the Jem'Hadar soldiers that their Vorta basically betrayed them, and the Jem'Hadar are like, you know what? It doesn't matter because we are here to serve, whether they betray us or not. And so they went out. They went out like men, even though they were Jem'Hadar. They were breeded Jem'Hadar. They went out like men. That episode said more about that episode's said more. Resonated more with me than anything that New Trek has done. Like there's a lot that they gave depth to the bad guys in Deep Space Nine, and that's what made early Star Trek work. That's why it brought people two different ideologies together. Yeah. It wasn't just a liberal thing. It wasn't all. It wasn't always just a liberal thing. Conservatives liked it too. There was something. It was a human thing. Now it's an inhuman thing.
Exactly. And that was real for me. That was real liberalism. Everyone was diverse. Everyone is from different races from the entire universe, but they don't make a big fuss about it. They face discrimination, yes, but how do they overcome it? By being the best of the best, by being freaking by working hard, exactly,
working together, and you know what? There's diversity of thought and opinion. And everybody brought something to the table, and it worked out. And it's DS9 is one of the best shows out there. It's one of the best. For example,
you guys didn't like Code of Honor. I love Code of Honor. I love Code of Honor because I mean I loved it. Like it's a big word.
Okay, if you love Code of Honor, you're gonna love season 2, and you're gonna.
I love Natasha Yar. I love Natasha Yar. She's my favorite white girl of them all.
Okay, I'll just say
after episode 3, after episode 3, after the naked bow or whatever, after that one when she just shows her entire naked back, I was like.
Angry, your heart. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm not going to spoil it.
We both know.
Your heart is going to break. Your heart's going to be broken based on what you just said.
I still want to watch it.
But I'll be honest. I'm going to say this about season 3. I'm surprised. They didn't bring her back, Denise Crosby, as well. Who I thought would have been a perfect villain for Picard season 3. Instead of making up this Vada character, they should have just brought back Sela, because she's still in the continuity. She's still alive, and I felt like they didn't really resolve stuff with her.
Sela,
Sela, the one that is played by Denise Crosby, the Romulan. She may be related to a character that Angry Mex really likes.
Natasha,
but not the way you think. And I'm not gonna spoil it for you. But I'll just say season 3 opens this up, and you're gonna if you love this season, you are going to love season 3.
I love this season. I love watching Deanna Troi with her crazy long legs. What are they giving her? A skirt every time?
I'm gonna tell you, it gets better and better and better until the final season. Season 7 kind of it's still good, but it's not better than the earlier season.
But does he have a good finale? That's what I want to know. Does he have a good finale?
I mean, some people will disagree with me. I love the finale because it let's just say it starts where it begins. I love that. I love how that goes. So
I want that. If it starts where it begins, I wanna love it because I love the beginning.
It's Q, right? In the finale.
Yeah, not just Q, but a certain chamber. Picard might find himself in again.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I watched the first holodeck. I was mind blown. That was beautiful. The whole thing with the fighting in the Code of Honor, it was silly as hell.
It looked like a video game.
Yeah. But it was good. But the twist at the end, I was like, wowza, like you don't see the your sweet summer child, she's 80. She's like 80. She's not my sweet summer child.
I'll say this, I'm guessing you haven't gone to Conspiracy yet.
Oh, 65. She still looks nice. I'm gonna say.
No, conspiracy is the penultimate episode of episode 1. Now I'm halfway through. I'm on. Yeah.
Angry, you're gonna love Conspiracy. It might be considered the best episode of season 1.
I'm about to get to that. Yeah, actually, I'm about to get to that one.
And
I'm going to have to I'm going to really have to go through all of them.
So episodes that I want you to look forward to. Season 2, 2 episodes I really like. There's the Measure of a Man, and there's an episode called Q Who. Those are my 2 favorite from season 2.
I love that.
Look forward to those.
All of the Q episodes are dumb puns.
Yes.
Hide and Q, Q Who, Cupid.
Mine was the first one. The first one is the smartest Q one. I mean, I haven't seen the finale, but yeah. The first one was like I haven't seen writing like that in my life.
I'm just going to warn you. Q becomes less of a villain as the show progresses, and he becomes more of a nuisance to Picard. But you know what? It's hilarious. It's funny. Like the episode Cupid, he's like, "Well, hey," Picard walks into his ready room, and there's Q sitting there. He's like, "Oh, Jean-Luc, I miss you. Give me a big hug." And like that's the introduction. That's hilarious. And let's just say that episode gets ridiculous. Like Q sends him somewhere to act in a certain one of his realities. It's hilarious.
I love Q. It's such an interesting concept. Again, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Now I understand why people say that Star Trek is better than Star Wars. It is miles better. Star Wars is freaking child's play compared to Star Trek.
Really?
My lord.
Really?
Yeah. Star Wars is child's play. Like the concepts alone. The English alone, I was like, holy, I got to look for a freaking dictionary, like struggling to understand half of what they were saying. And Star Wars is like, oh, that's right, you.
I'll say this: I probably would not have gotten into Star Trek if it wasn't for getting into Star Wars.
Yeah,
Star Wars was really my gateway into science fiction. Even though nowadays I don't even consider Star Wars science fiction. I consider it fantasy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's more or space fantasy is the term that I like to use.
It's space wizards. Yeah.
Space wizards and laser swords and giant laser stations.
Fantasy is about good and evil. And sci-fi is about theology, or not theology, and
it's about humanity. It's
philosophy.
It's basically about philosophy, psychology, humanity. It's basically about the human condition, just taking us into fictional. It's speculative fiction. Science fiction is speculative fiction, basically.
But nobody does that anymore. Like nobody cares about. I mean, at least in TVs, in movie shows, in movie shows, in TVs and movies.
Fantasy is about using your heart, and sci-fi is about using your
gladly. Fantasy is still way better than sci-fi nowadays. Modern sci-fi. Modern fantasy, like Game of Thrones, I guess, is the closest to modern fantasy, the best modern fantasy that we ever gotten.
The best fantasy adaptation is House of the Dragon, or currently is House
yes,
of the Dragon.
Definitely, yeah. Not only the best adaptation, but it's the best show ever created, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, no, that's a little bit of a stretch in modern times. By far.
The other 2 shows, Amazon really wants its Game of Thrones. So they made 2 shitty fantasy shows. They completely wasted a good book series, Wheel of Time, and they hired Rafe Judkins to adapt it. And as much as everybody wants to,
comes out in a month.
Yeah, well, less than a month actually. But everybody blames Rafe for this. It's not entirely Rafe's fault for them putting it out. You have to blame Jennifer Salke, the head of programming at Amazon. Because he's not. I mean, this shit has to get approved. Like you can bring, like, there's one thing that Hollywood used to do well was they used to weed out shitty ideas all the time. Like, because they always got ideas from every direction.
Yeah,
they knew how to filter it out. Now they don't know how to filter it out.
Well, because now they can't. They can't. They will get in trouble if they do. They have to meet quotas.
Yes.
Imagine that
You-
affirmative
there-
action
there-
working
what
again.
was that article that came out a year ago? That Hollywood is not allowed to accept scripts from white people anymore.
If you're a white writer, like they will say shame on you for some reason. Like imagine that, yeah. You gotta get some time. You gotta come back down to Mexico, my man, in the Portugal. You gotta get your time going on.
Get some sun and
Get some
maybe-
sun, so they maybe don't like. You can tell that you are like Greek or something.
Yeah, the spray the tanning stuff like they do to all those bodybuilders. You know, maybe that's what I need. So
They do like they darken the skin, like not bodybuilders, but modern actresses that are like specifically Latino actresses. They will darken the skin. Like this girl Rachel Segler, she is not Colombian. A Colombian would call her gringa, like to her face. Her name is
Wow.
Rachel for once. It's not Raquel, which will be the Mexican or the Latino version of Rachel, Raquel. Um, and Segler, which is a Jewish, last name, and it's like, oh my god, no, my cat is doing something weird with a butterfly.
Did you
We're
see
chasing
her?
a butterfly, almost kicking everything. But yeah,
Did
she's.
you see that soundbite of her?
Oh
this
my
week?
lord, yeah, like I don't have to spend 18 hours standing up in a shitty dress. In the worst dress that I've seen in any adaptation of what was Snow White, and I watched the one from 2011 with Lily Collins, which was trash, and even that one was better.
Then I deserve your streaming money because I had to wear a dress. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I would say, okay, get the streaming money. It's like $24. What do they think streaming money comes from? It comes from subscription. Like people don't pay for individual movies. It's not Amazon. They pay for the subscription once a month, and sometimes they don't even pay it like in 6 months because they only want to watch one thing. And most people are pirating stuff nowadays. Literally, most people don't give a damn about the law, and they just go and pirate stuff.
Well, what's
yeah.
crazy is that streaming fixed piracy. Like when Netflix first came out, and there was like Netflix, when it was the only one, piracy almost disappeared entirely.
Yep.
And now, because it's gotten so crappy again, it's skyrocketing.
Yeah, everyone I know for example, my Discord channel, everyone knows always telling me, "Are you gonna pirate this? Gonna be?" And I'm like, I would love to go pay for it, but first I don't have any money, and then it's like it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I haven't pirated Oppenheimer, for example, because Oppenheimer is something that you have to watch in IMAX. You have to get the full experience.
yeah.
As well, I haven't watched the movie, the one Mission Impossible, as well, because I want to watch it on IMAX. And it's still an IMAX.
Both of which just crossed $500,000, and Barbie hit $1 billion this week.
I mean, but that was predictable. I literally predicted like 3 weeks ago that Barbie was going to make like.
I know. You're right.
So
But
did you guys do the Barbenheimer thing?
We did Oppenheimer. He watched Barbie for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I watched Barbie because I wanted to rip it apart.
I enjoyed Oppenheimer for the most part. I did want to rewatch it. It makes me want to learn more about that part of that the history behind. Post dropping a nuclear bomb, about Oppenheimer and that whole thing that Robert Downey Jr. was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious about all that. I thought it was a very compelling movie. Whether I don't know how accurate it is, but knowing Christopher Nolan, it probably is with some artistic license. Especially them sitting naked. I thought that was very. I was like, that's very artsy fart. That was very artsy fartsy, right?
That's the only thing that I don't. That's the only reason why I don't want to watch the movie. Yeah, that's the reason why I don't want to watch the movie, is because of the necessary sex scenes. It's like, why even?
It made sense during the trial scene when his wife was there, and it was like cutting to it. It was like, okay, like this is serving a purpose, and then the other scenes were like, come on, what is this for?
I would say the only reason why I want to watch Oppenheimer is because I believe that what he did was right. I genuinely believe that what he did was the right thing to do in that moment. That he had to do it. There was no other choice. It
No,
was
I agree.
it was a
I
race. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Against
mean, it
time.
was either it was either he did it, or
The Germans
or
or the
Heisenberg
Japanese. Yeah.
or Heisenberg and
Mhm.
the Germans would do it, would come up with it first. And I mean, the Star Trek episode, "The City on the Edge of Forever," kind of that's the reason why Germany in that continuity captures the war, or captures the world, not the war.
Yeah.
And they have to go back in time because the someone that McCoy saves prevents the U.S. from entering World War II, and that's basically that's where the shit goes down. So when I was watching Oppenheimer, I was actually thinking Star Trek. I was actually thinking, and that's considered the best episode of the original series, "The City on the Edge of Forever." They go back in time, and they have to let
Yeah.
somebody die. They have to let somebody die.
So impactful. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the whole reason. The
Star
thing with
Trek used to make you think about stuff, man.
Yeah, I
now
mean,
it makes you cringe about stuff. Yeah.
Anyway.
that's true. I mean, that's why. I mean, it's a shame because they had a lot of great science fiction writers writing for original Trek. That episode I'm talking about was written by Harlan Ellison. I mean, they obviously rewrote the shit out of that episode to the point where Harlan Ellison's like, "You assholes," but like, but then again, it had to be consistent. So as much as like some of the writers came in, they didn't know Star Trek as well as like Mr. Roddenberry and the other producers did. So that's why when episodes were submitted to the original series, they had to rewrite them so that it was consistent with the rest of the show.
Yeah, that's the job of a showrunner. Yeah.
Yeah, and if only they had that working philosophy, that business model in their writers' rooms. Like all the writers' rooms do is they think let's do this. Why? Oh, fuck it. Let's just do it. Musical? Heck yeah. Other shows do it. Who made it popular? Was it freaking
Buffy?
Scrubs that made the musical episode famous or something?
I think Buffy did it first.
Okay.
And a lot of other people copied it, and
But,
it has been done well in the past, usually in comedies.
I hated the
Yeah.
Scrubs one. That's the only episode that I always fast forward. I watch every episode of Scrubs. I love Scrubs, even the last season. But that episode, I cannot stand it because again, I'm a musician. I'm a professional singer. I hate bad singing. That's one of the things that I cannot stand is autotune and bad singing. And I mean, Scrubs did it way better because they actually tried really hard to make it sound good. And the guy, the black guy, is really good singer. He's a really good singer,
Yes.
really, really, really good singer. Also, this guy, not every Adrian Brody. What's the name of the guy?
The main character, who?
Yeah, Zach
Zach Braff.
Braff. Yeah, Zach Galifianakis. Zach
think,
Braff.
yeah,
Also,
the
good
reason-
singer, decent enough singer to make it good. Like, the other ones is like, ooh.
Because I'm curious, like why I'm seeing like all these ads nowadays with with those two guys from Scrubs. Like, why am I seeing all these musical ads of them? And now
They don't have a lot of other work.
That's
So-
true.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
seriously, like
It's a shame. They were a good movie. They were a good screen couple.
Yeah,
Yes.
They had a great chemistry.
Good combo.
Yeah, but they're doing their own. Like Zach had a rough couple of time with, I think, with cancer or something. Like he's struggling with.
He
with
kind
the
of became a
disease and-
director too. He did a bunch of indie movies that he directed.
Yeah.
wow.
But he's coming
Well,
back with a movie, I think, with his partner. But that's coming like 2024 or the other year. He just announced it like some months ago, saying that he started production for that movie. Yeah, I hope they make something. I don't know what happened to the guy. I thought that, yeah, I felt really sad after watching Scrubs because I really wanted to see more of all of them. Elliot, Elliot, I saw a little bit of her in How I Met Your Mother, but she was a villain basically, the horrible villain in How I Met Your Mother,
Yeah.
which I don't know. I love her. I absolutely love Elliot in Scrubs. He's one of my favorite characters because she's yeah, damn, but still she's a good character. She's well written and she's funny, most important.
It's a good example of writing a strong female character.
Yeah, smart.
But we kind of breezed over the thing I hated the most about Subspace Rhapsody was Spock's song,
Oh my lord.
which
that the
was
one-
it
was
was a
that the-
reprise of the Doctor's song.
Was that the one in the bar or the
It was-
lounge?
No, So
No,
the
this-
Doctor song did
No,
the
this-
nightclub dance scene where she's like, I'm ready to leave you. I'm gonna go do this thing, and if I have to leave you behind, I don't give a crap because screw you, Spock. Right? Like,
Oh
and
yeah,
then-
you know who they name dropped in that? Oh god, dude, like that pissed me off even more. They name dropped Dr. Corby. Dr. Corby was from the original series
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
What are little girls made of? The one with the androids.
I
You know.
missed that.
well, there was
So,
that other.
hey, everybody, we're respecting the lore. Hey, remember Dr. Corby? Remember how Kirk didn't meet Pike until he became fleet captain? See, we remember that. Fuck off. You got two little things right. That was, I mean, any high schooler could get that right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there was also the part where Uhura sings about her family blowing up into a million pieces and becoming particles of light. That was pretty funny. But then the weird the song I hated the most was Spock's song, which was a reprise of the song that his girlfriend sang. It starts off, this news changes everything, whatever, and then it turned into a calculus song with the pun being I was trying to solve for why you wanted to break up with me, and all I discovered is that I'm the X.
It sounds more like algebra, but yeah.
That's not calculus. You're correct. It's just basic algebra. And what the first time he said I'm the X, I paused the show. I was laughing for 10 minutes straight because I literally made the same joke in my improv show that was a comedy, and it was supposed to be a bad joke. My character was a math professor who was trying to make math sexy. I was doing like the Snape, like I can teach you how to borrow fame and infamy, but I was like, I can teach you the true ways of seduction with math. It's the sexiest of all of the subjects, and it was hilarious. And I literally made the same joke, like, oh, if you solve for this, you're just gonna end up being an X. And they did it, but they were serious.
Yep.
I remember that song
thought-
now. I remember that song now. X is X, X girl, boyfriend.
EX.
Oh.
That's the. It's
remember
literally a joke. I did it in a comedy show, and they were playing it off like it was clever wordplay for a serious song. It was insane to me.
It's funny. It's
that
funny.
subsequently turns out that was my last improv show ever because I got canceled for being conservative.
Freak them. We're gonna win,
We
bro.
talked
We're
about
gonna
that
win.
last week. Yeah, I got fired from my improv group because someone had a trans daughter and got upset at my politics.
Yeah, even though there wasn't any politics in the improv show, she just found out about this channel, and
And you barely talk about your politics in your most popular videos about the Rings of Power. Exactly.
Yeah.
Your meme compilations are not literally non-politic at all.
Anyway, it was a really funny show, and it's fun. That's the thing. It's clever when it's used as a joke in a comedy. It's retarded when it's supposed to be taken seriously. And they thought it was like I genuinely don't understand.
They thought they had the talent to write a musical, and the reason why they thought they had the talent to write a musical is because musicals nowadays are trash. I heard the In the Heights, and I wanted to die. I wanted to die in game, literally. The In the Heights is one of the worst things that happened to humanity, and I am only telling that because a girl that I used to date wanted to audition for the Heights. So and she ghosted me. So I have a genuinely hatred for In the Heights because of that experience. But because also it's a bad show. It's a horrible movie. I saw the movie and I was like, God, the acting in this one. Oh my Lord. The
Yeah.
auto-tune. Why does everyone use auto-tune nowadays? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Especially on a, if you try and take this premise seriously, it's like, oh, we only sing when in a musical when your words aren't good enough to express your emotions. So wouldn't you want to have an emotional performance like they do in like Les Mis? Like a lot of people complained about how they did the Les Mis musical because they recorded live, and so the singing wasn't the greatest performance ever, but it worked in that movie because the emotion was there, and the songs were about the emotion.
That's what musicals are supposed to be, and
it wasn't a perfect performance because it wasn't supposed to be.
That's the hard part of being good musical singer. Is not only singing perfectly when you have to sing perfectly, but cracking your voice,
but performing while singing as well, like acting while singing. Right. None of these people were acting with their singing. It was just this changes everything.
They were just walking and
there wasn't even choreography.
Yeah, there was one in the end, and I thought it was going to be the entire episode. No, it's one in the end. I mean, you can, if you count the horrible nightclub.
It was literally one shot, dude.
Yeah, the horrible nightclub dancing scene with this girl saying, let it go, basically, right?
That wasn't choreographed either. It was just like a nightclub.
Yeah, she was like dancing. And the dancing was horrific. I was like, I've seen more movement in my bowel movement.
The other song that stupid. That's a bad joke, man.
I just heard that.
Now imagine writing a serious musical and trying to put that joke into it. That's okay. The other song that had just the worst lyrical writing. So I'm a musician. I am primarily a lyricist. Okay. And I'm a mediocre musician, okay? But lyrics are my thing. The stupid song with Khan's daughter and that other lady, whoever it was.
Where they intentionally turned off the gravity? She
pushes a button so that they can spin around and then pushes it so they can... I don't know what that was for, but the lyrics are awful. The theme of the song is... One time I kept a secret and it turned out bad. And now the final line of that is like, I wish I hadn't become so good at keeping secrets. You need to go tell your boyfriend you love him. It was like, this is just.
Isn't that one where they acknowledge that they are rhyming?
Trough.
No, I never mind. That's the secret one with Kirk and not Kirk. Kirk, who is the main guy, the commander, the commander in chief? Pike
and his wife.
Pike, yeah, his wife. Was they say, I rhyme. I rhyme. The wife is like, oh, I rhyme.
That one was bad too. Yeah, that one's probably the worst.
That was the worst.
They were all
the wife singing. They didn't even try to give her a good good backup singer. They were like, no, just sing whatever, and we fix it in post. And it was so awful that they couldn't even fix it on post. Yeah,
I could tell they weren't singing. It was, I think, was it the actors singing, or was it that they dub it over?
You could tell it was definitely, it was ADR, so it was recorded in studio, but none of them were good at singing, so they were doing I call it talk singing. I'm sure there's like a did they use like actual singers that they dubbed over? Because I know sometimes they use the actors for those.
Oh, they actually did.
That's why it was so bad, because if they got singers, it would have sounded good. There's not a single song.
More money.
There's not a single song, with the exception of the one that Uhura does, where they're projecting. It's because they don't know how to sing, and when you don't know how to sing, you give a very reserved performance, and you just. This is the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. And then you can, and then they can take that. They can take that. But it's a very reserved performance because I'm pretending to be a bad singer. Then the studio can take that and make it sound good, but the performance is like you
Right.
can tell that the performance was very reserved.
That's
And
honestly,
a real singer will project, and this is the song that never ends. You know, like there wasn't a single moment where anyone was projecting except for the
And
one song. with
I
O'Hara.
would argue, I will make the argument because I hated the O'Hara. Like that was, I was like banging
a
my
bad
head like
song.
a monkey. No. Like no. The singing because I register like she sings 3 notes in the entire like she like her register is this and this like 5 notes. And then she sings the high note over here, and the high note is out of like it's the fakest thing. Is as fake
Yeah.
as Hailey Bailey's freaking.
That song
Little
also
Mermaid.
sucked because 90% of it was talk singing, and but at the very end
right.
she shifts her register and starts projecting, and it's like, oh,
Yes.
finally someone is singing.
Yeah, and when I was like about to say hell yeah, finally, then she goes and does the
Yes.
note,
Yes.
like,
And it's not
and
good.
she opens
It's not
not
good.
even. And
But
you
I
see
respect her for actually trying.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. At least she opens her mouth at the same time that the notes are coming out of her mouth, right? Like, but she's not by. You see, you sound the the vibrato. The vibrato, yeah, you hear the vibrato, and you don't see her either his or her mouth or even her lips moving, which is like basic vibrato.
Yeah,
like,
because it was
It's
done in studio.
Exactly.
It's ADR.
Yeah, exactly. Not it was only studio, but the vibrato was as well as the vibrato from Halle Bailey. It was artificial.
Artificial
I was
vibrato.
like- I was like, holy moly, guacamole, literally.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't even do stuff. They literally just floated and then went back down. They could
Yeah.
have, that could have been a cool choreography, right? If there was a reason for it.
But
Yep.
there's no money. I mean, there's money for the pretty cameras and the pretty actors and the pretty makeup, but there's no money for actual good writing and actual good choreography and in a musical.
If they were taking a playbook from the original Star Trek series, you know, they would have had an escalation. This would have been a virus that's taking over things, and the ship is breaking down because people are breaking into.
But the only escalation was it's going to the other Federation ships that are off screen. But trust me, it's getting worse. But they also don't explain if this does become the new reality.
Like,
why is that a horrible thing? It's not like
exactly.
it's not a dangerous reality. It's just everyone's going to sing now.
But
I didn't care what was going on.
Exactly.
I felt no stakes. Naked Time, I felt stakes. The Side of Paradise, I felt stakes. The Day of the Dove episode, these are all original series. Day of the Dove, that was the episode where an entity just gets on board the ship and makes everybody bigoted. I'm not joking. There's Klingons on the ship.
Makes everyone bigoted
with their tan paint on.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It's called Day of the Dove. It's the one with Kang.
Okay.
So it makes everybody bigoted and hateful, and they have swords. All their phasers turn into swords, and they're fighting swords with the Klingons. I'm not joking.
That's a weird one.
And then
but the
King
stakes
slaps Kirk in the back. King slaps Kirk in the back and nearly breaks his back, and Nimoy is just like, oh.
Oof, is that blackface I see? Oh, baby, I gotta watch this.
It was a different time.
Yeah,
but
there was literally an episode of the original series where they discuss racism and hatred. Yeah. They have an alien whose one side of their face is black, and the other side of their face is white.
Yep.
And there's two aliens, and the thing is they have it reversed. That's why they hate each other. Because one side
black is on the other side.
Black is on the other side. All of his people are black.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful!
And see, the thing was, so even that episode, like they didn't take the side of the oppressed person because the oppressed character was still hateful. They were perpetuating the hate.
See how I say Star Wars is child's play compared to that.
Yeah. I mean, Star Trek is full of allegory. Star Wars is based off of mythology. I mean,
I'm not racist. I exclusively eat black and white cookies.
You know what's funny is every time I eat a black and white cookie, I always think of that. I think of that episode now.
Yeah.
That and the Wheel of Time. Now
the stakes on this episode are if they sing a secret, they are going to be in trouble, right? But the secrets are about their shitty relationships, literally.
Oh man. They
And
could've-
then you were right about it. Like the way they fix the whole issue is by doing it more.
Look, if you wanted to do something, if that was going to be the solution, you needed to have some kind of parallel plot, like in the episode in season 1 of TNG with the finger traps, the Chinese finger traps. I can't remember which one but you have to push it in to get it to get your finger out. Like
The one where they go to the end of the entire universe, like when they go.
I don't remember. I don't remember which episode it was from because I watched a lot and I wasn't paying attention to all of them because some of them got a little bit boring. But the metaphor was like, oh, with a Chinese finger trap, if you just try and pull away, you're not going to get your fingers unstuck. You have to push it in, and then so if I don't know, they could have had some kind of metaphor for
It could have
parallel.
It was a dumb idea, but they could have made it work.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it was just absolutely awful.
That episode
in every way.
I've seen that
talked
episode
about too how they completely destroyed Kirk by having him flirt with this girl the whole time, and he
has a wife.
Yeah, he has a wife with a kid on the way. It's like, what the?
Is that canon? When did Kirk get married?
They're not. No,
they're not married.
It's referencing Wrath of Khan, Carol Marcus. You know, if you've seen Wrath of Khan, you know that he had a thing with Carol Marcus and he had a kid, David.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, they're basically just referencing Wrath of Khan.
Okay, sure, but it made him look like a douche because he was flirting with her.
He was very clearly flirting.
Where no one
her.
has gone before, I think.
I'll be honest. That part actually made a little sense because Kirk kind of did that in the original series.
True, but not given the context of the scene. You know,
true.
You would think if you have a kid on the way, then I don't know. It just kind of pissed me off. Yeah, he was a womanizer. That's true. But
so I mean, I was a little forgiving on that part, but I get what you're saying.
I did think leading up to that though was the only decent acting I had seen in the entire series, where she does her little monologue about how this alternate reality or whatever, and you know.
Okay. But why isn't that a song?
Yes, exactly.
Because the premise of the episode is when words aren't enough. That was like literally like her character arc, like the most emotional part of her character, and she just talks.
Exactly.
I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah, that's actually the other thing that I have a problem with the episode is the inconsistency with the singing and not singing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It made no
specifically that part that you mentioned. Great point. But yeah, they sing together is garbage. Is the worst song when they all sing together because it's the worst singing.
It's the grand finale, and it's the worst song.
And then they pause the entire song for the rap of the freaking Klingon. Oh my lord! That when I saw
Make
that part,
your blood scream.
I thought that was in the beginning. I thought that was like the beginning of the episode. That's the reason why it's so bad. Mm-hmm. No, it's the ending of the episode.
Yep. That's the finale.
Like they say in my country, cerrar con broche de oro, which means like closing the episode, you know, with the best. Obviously not the best, you know.
End on a high note.
End on a high note. Yeah, that's the phrase in America.
Yeah.
End on a high note. Yeah, to end on a high note, they do the Klingon thingy, and then they finish the song, even worse than it started. And then it blows like it comes.
Yep.
I mean, I'll say this: after watching this episode, you have to watch old Star Trek to wash the taste out of it. That's how I coped with season. I know I'm going to keep bugging. Yeah, I keep mentioning Picard season 3, but I watched Rocks and Shoals. I watched. Remember Chain of Command part 1 and 2 with Captain Jellicoe.
I don't remember like the names of I've seen a lot of Star Trek, but it's just like people showing my dad showing me episodes.
That's the one where Picard gets tortured by Cardassians.
Oh, okay.
Remember that? And remember that one? And there's a new captain played by Ronnie Cox. And
I don't know.
You don't remember that one? Oh, dude,
Maybe.
that's a great 2-part. Might be my favorite of season 6. I'm watching those. Angry, you're gonna love the Drumhead. The Drumhead is an excellent episode.
Probably the most like
It's definitely top. I think I don't know
Like-
about you, but it's definitely top 10 of TNG for me.
It's literally like it's so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It's like all of those Simpson episodes that predicted the future. The Drumhead is like the most relevant Star Trek episode to what is to the current political climate. Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
interesting.
Nerdpoil, I'm curious. Have you seen the Orville at all?
Yeah, we talked about it last time.
Okay.
I did after shows for New Horizons.
Right.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
Orville season 3 is better than Picard season 3 by far. There were some issues I had with the story though. But when I think about it, I think they knew that they weren't going to be renewed, and I think that's why they kind of rushed the ending. One thing I didn't like was how they made the Kalons their allies, even though they were supposed to be the existential threat.
Yeah.
It's like making the Borg the good. It was like making the Borg the good. Like even Voyager when they had the alliance with the Borg. Spoiler alert. Even that there was tension there, like because it didn't last. It didn't last.
Yeah.
So them teaming up with and Pips said this too because he watched it as well. And this is the one thing I agree with him on. They became allies with the existential threat over the other species that they have ideological disagreements with. That was what that season was trying to tell us, and I don't think that's a good. I don't think that's a good way to tell a story. I mean, it's better. It's still better than New Trek by far. Yeah. But I don't like that message. And
I agree. I think they pulled it off and they made it work. But I agree with your criticisms. But
and there was
at least the conversation that they had, like convincing them, like it was interesting.
Yes,
but I agree. It's a little problematic. I would say like. The message isn't great,
and then the thing I didn't like, and it was also, they episode 9, penultimate episode, the episode where they had Picard season 3 had its Return of the Jedi thing. Well,
this one had the trench
Orville
run.
Orville had the trench run.
Yep.
So they came up with this stupid. Device that just magically allowed them to defeat all the Kalon ships within. It was literally a Super Mario Galaxy 2 type of ring thing that just destroyed a ring wave that destroyed all the ships. And then they decide, okay, let's go all Oppenheimer in this issue. And we have to control this weapon and so the point of the episode was it got into the hands of their ideological enemies, which in this case was the Krill and the Mocklins. So one thing that I hated about this season was like the Krill and the Union got together to fight the Kalon. Like they had to overcome their ideological differences to face an existential threat that was threatening to destroy all organic life in the galaxy.
Yeah.
So
I was really looking forward. I was hoping that's what season 3 was going to explore, that relationship between them and the Krill. Like, this is a really interesting like dynamic that's balancing on the head of a pin. And they kind of just like, we're gonna do the other thing.
They completely undid that. And this is episode 4, and this is the episode that really pissed a lot of people off. They undid it because they needed to say something about a certain orange
orange man.
Orange person. I don't want to get your thing. I love talking code. I love talking code like that anyways, but certain orange person thing. And because of that, they undid the Krill. So they're like, oh, the dangers of populism, this. And then what's even funnier,
that episode was kind of interesting though, because the Trump character was right. It was a coup, like they were, like it wasn't a fair election, and you're like, what are you trying to say here? I don't know what you're trying to say.
And and this was, I think this was Talea. This was Talea. This was someone that she started off good. She was a teacher. Then season 2, she hates him because of the deception.
Yeah.
And the fact that they destroyed the ship. One thing I hated about season 1 was how they made the Krill, like the Krill were the bad guys because they were religious and everything. So it was the first thing I thought was, Jesus Christ. It's like, once again, demonizing Christians. I know it's so popular to demonize Christians.
Yeah.
Ever since the Enlightenment era, when everybody in Europe, started becoming secular and all that. So I mean, yeah, Christians are not perfect. I mean, the faith and the core tenets are not the best. But come on.
Well,
I mean,
man, you'd love Good Omens season 2, baby.
Oh, dear.
I honestly, I've not watched Good Omens. I know Prophet.
Season 1 is really good.
Okay, so it's another stupid thing like that where you have a good first season, and then you get horrible follow-up seasons.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Season 1 is a good adaptation because
There's a book,
it's
right?
actually there's a book, and Terry Pratchett wrote the treatment for season 1.
Okay, because I know he passed away, Terry Pratchett.
Yes, so it's Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman did Good Omens. And maybe Terry Pratchett also wrote the treatment for season 1, which is why it was so good. And then he died. He died, and they made it posthumously, but they kept his script.
Yeah.
He also wrote the treatment for season 2. They had always planned on writing a book together back in like 1990. They were planning on doing a sequel, but a Good Omens book 2. It just never. They were both too busy. But then once the TV show started doing, he wrote the treatment for season 1, and then they used all of their notes and ideas for book 2, and Terry Pratchett wrote a treatment for season 2, and Neil Gaiman threw it away to make his own season 2.
Yeah, one thing I learned about Neil Gaiman. What was the show that what was the Netflix show that completely disregarded his source material? The one that was vampires or something. What was it called?
I don't know. It wasn't.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking
American
about, right?
Gods. That wasn't Netflix though.
No, it was
Sandman.
Oh, Sandman.
Sandman. Yeah, Sandman. Like, why would you? I mean, I'll read some of his stuff. I have his audio. I have the audiobook for his Norse mythology, but like, I think Neil Gaiman's a piece of work.
Yeah, no. I had a couple of his books, like American Gods. I was planning on reading that because I've heard good things. And yeah, Sandman. Everyone loves Sandman. I watched the adaptation, and the first couple episodes started off good, and then the rest of this whole entire season was just insufferable.
The only thing I know about Neil Gaiman, you know how I first learned about Neil Gaiman? He says to a bunch of fans, George R.R. Martin is not your bitch. I don't know if you've heard that one, because before Game of Thrones came out, he was taking forever writing Dance with Dragons, and people were just on his ass. They're like, why haven't you finished? Why do you keep talking about the jets? Why do you keep talking about all these things?
Your trains.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of model trains.
That's much later, but he got he's been. People have been writing him for almost 20 years now. Because
please finish the books.
He wrote the first 3 books within he published the first 3 books of A Song of Ice and Fire within like 4 years. And then it's 2000. So it's been 23 years since book 3 came out. He only published 2 books in those 23 years. And books 4 and 5 are supposed to be one book. Kind of like, you know how if you read Wheel of Time, was it Winter's Heart? Winter's Heart and Crossroad Twilight
focuses on different characters.
I haven't gotten that far yet, but I compare that to Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons because it was
supposed to be one book too big, so they separated it.
And so we're still waiting on. It's been over 12 years now. July of 2011 was the last time book 5 came out. I'm still waiting for the payoff because as much as I love Dance with Dragons, it was building up to 2 large battles that we didn't even get to. So, I mean, raw readers think the book sucks because of that, which I don't blame them for. I love the content of book 5, though, especially the Theon stuff. But that's just me.
Yeah, no, I have the books, and I want to read them eventually, but I'm like, I don't know if I should start. It's the same. Like I've stopped recommending.
I know I'm going to say something very controversial here. I still think Song of Ice and Fire is better. I mean, I've only read the first 3 Wheel of Time books. I enjoy Wheel of Time, but I enjoy Song of Ice and Fire a lot more. I like the writing style much better.
Totally fine.
But as much as I hate to say it, I like Robert Jordan as a person more than George R. R. Martin. And unfortunately, Robert Jordan's no longer with us. But hey, he was way more based, and he cared about finishing his story even when he was dying.
There you go, Mark.
George R. R. Martin doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself.
No,
it's same with Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, the point of the story was Neil Gaiman is a douche. I was planning on reading American Gods, and after watching season 2 and what he's done to Terry Pratchett's legacy, I will never read a Neil Gaiman book ever. I will never watch an adaptation.
I agree.
Of any of his books. I despise the man. He season 2 started off bad. The first half was bad, and we watched the second half this week. I got sick. I got very sick. It's probably worse than the bastardization of Wheel of Time.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's because he wrote a treatment for season 2. And then Neil Gaiman pissed all over it.
Yeah. It's just a complete 180 from the first season. It's completely different.
We talked about this last week. My wife started watching the first. She loved season 1. It made her read the book, and then she watched it again. She didn't even finish episode 1 of season 2. She walked out halfway through. She said, "You can keep watching, but I don't want this to ruin the story for me," and left.
Yeah.
So no one finished it but me.
I did not finish it. I did not care to.
Spoilers. Everyone's gay. Literally everybody.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
The entire plot of the season is the Parent Trap for a lesbian couple.
Yeah.
They have to get 2 lesbians to hook up, or the world's going to end.
Huh?
Exactly.
The secret, the reason why Gabriel lost his memory, the entire mystery box of the show.
I love how you put the emphasis on Gabriel.
Well, okay, so this is the one heterosexual relationship. The reason he puts his memory into the matchbox, into a fly, so that people won't find out that he's in love with Beelzebub. The season ends with Beelzebub and Gabriel deciding to run away together because they're in love.
Lord. And
and he says, "You are my anywhere. If I'm with you, I'm in heaven." And she says, "If I'm with you, I'm in hell." And they run away together. And then and then they have Aziraphale and Crowley make out because the lesbian couple tells Crowley, "Hey, you sure are close with that friend. It's because you're gay, right?" And he says, No, it's not because we're gay. And he says, "Wait a minute, I am gay." And then he goes to kiss Aziraphale, and they make out. Then Aziraphale tells him that because they fixed the problem, that the Metatron gave him permission to become the new leader of heaven. And so Aziraphale is granted, he gets to be the new boss, and they say, "You can turn Crowley back into an angel so you can be together." And Crowley says, "No, but we don't want to be together because God is evil." And so they break up at the end of the season, and they go their separate ways. And Aziraphale is tasked with doing the second coming.
I'm fully in support of the writer's strike. I hope. They literally need that. Like they need to hire some new writers. Hollywood,
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Studios don't give in to these writers.
Yeah.
Also, they were friends. These psychopaths don't understand friendship.
Yep.
They think that everyone has to bang each other.
Yep.
They
Two guys
clearly
can't be friends. They have to
never
be gay.
read Good Omens. All they did was just take Terry Pratchett's script and just act it out, and then thought, "Oh, but Crowley and Aziraphale are so close; they have great chemistry. That means that they have to bang." I bet these people don't have friends in their real life.
No, but because they always fall in love with their friends, and obviously because they were so ugly or so stupid, they didn't get the friends, so now they are traumatized by by the friend zone. Which I'm an expert on the friend zone. I've been friends on my entire life, like 20 times during my entire life.
You trust me.
I know the friend zone, but I
knows about being in the friend zone.
yeah, but
Okay.
I would never, never write like that, write and show my trauma. I'm not traumatized by it. I'm like, okay, this girl's missed out on a great opportunity, to be honest. But it's like, yeah, why write like that? It's the same with Strange New Worlds. They do the very same thing. Everyone is like trying to bang each other or trying to get out of the friend zone with each other. Like Spock into the friend zone with this girl.
It's worse with Stranger Things because these are like adolescents. Stranger Things season 1 was fantastic because it was scary.
Did I say Stranger Things?
I'm sorry, talking about Stranger Things.
Did I say Stranger Things?
Stranger Things has just evolved into another CW show,
But they
except
are-
that
yes.
it's kids trying to bang each other.
Yes, which
And
is
I'm like,
weird.
These people, they're freshmen in high school.
Straight.
Yeah.
I thought the most recent season of Stranger Things was excellent. It was an excellent.
It was
show.
better than 2 and 3, but I don't like the relationship drama.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So I think it's actually close number 2.
It's the closest. It's the closest it ever came to being as good as season 1.
And with the whole thing with Will, I thought was done beautifully. The whole
They finally gave Will something to do.
Yeah, and then the way, and they didn't just say, "Oh, he's this, he's the word that rhymes with day," but they did. I think they did it in a much better way.
Yeah,
in a way that I thought was beautiful. And it's not like Doctor Who, where I think one guy scream out, "I'm gay" in Doctor Who or something.
Yep.
And New Who, like
yes,
yeah. So it wasn't stupid and ham-fisted. I thought it was. The way that the way it was written, the subtext involved, I thought was done perfectly, and I love the new villain. I love the Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Vecna.
It was good.
So
yes.
I mean, sorry, I know we're not talking about Stranger Things, but
Strange New Worlds. What was your point about Strange New Worlds?
It's terrible. It's basically you're like the original series. They were they even though they were a ship that went out exploring, they were still naval. There was still a military structure to the ship.
Right.
Like
right.
they didn't have lounges and bars and like next that was a Next Generation thing, and that was some of the criticism of that show. The original series, everything was compact. You had a galley. You put a block in, and then you got delivered your meals. I mean, your
meals were synthesized.
Yeah, it
right?
was a ship. People, I mean, it wasn't. They didn't have these bars and these. It looked like it looks like millennial. It looks like college in space. And
Yes.
Pike, instead of being a captain, seems more like a headmaster, who's just like he's the friend. He's the friendly headmaster dude who doesn't know what's going on. He's like the principal from Saved by the Bell. That's what he reminds me of. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I think your mic cut out. Something went. No, I can hear you. Okay. There was some weird sound in my mic in my headphones, but
yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. I love the name though. Space Rhapsody. Well, what was the name?
It wasn't even a rhapsody though. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, your mic is out. We can't.
Yeah. Okay, I was right. Your mic fizzed. Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing. Turn it off and on again. Have you tried plugging it in? Nothing.
Nope.
No. Just restart. Restart your browser. We'll bring you back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen. But yeah, I love Star Trek. I am going to become a Trekkie.
Yeah, so am I, man.
Nice.
Like I've always watched a lot of it, but I never watched like sequentially.
No. Oh,
There
now
we go.
you,
There we
now
go.
there
Yeah.
you go.
Okay.
There
You're
you
good.
go.
Oh, you want to know what the finale, like the what the show was building to? The finale of Good Omens was Aziraphale's going to throw a ball for the lesbians so that they can fall in love. He was doing a Pride and Prejudice dance so they could fall in love. And as Martina pointed out, they have horrible chemistry. Like the coffee shop lady is legitimately a horrible person.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yep. And then the
I-
record lady is simping over her for
it's
And
Somehow.
are they like the ugly like lesbians? You know?
yes.
Yep.
Oh no.
both. Like normally you have one
Oh.
hot one, and then you know.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be watching that show ever.
Don't.
I only watched the first season. I thought it was pretty clever.
Yeah, first season
Pretty
was great.
imaginating something like that.
Imaginative.
Imaginative. Yeah, I was like, what? But yeah, I thought it was pretty good, but it's a disturbing.
Honestly, season 1, great adaptation. Just stop there.
Yep.
Did you? They have a disabled angel, Nerdporio. They have a quadriplegic angel.
Yep.
How does
They
that
made
work?
that joke. Nerporio,
Exactly.
you're gonna know this. You're gonna know this. Remember in Family Guy when they make a joke when they go to heaven and they go to ask God why the Patriots are losing so badly. They're like, come on, give the Patriots, give the Patriots a break, God. And God is like, okay, guys. And then Joe is asking him, God, like, God, why am I in a wheelchair in heaven as well? Oh, you're like that forever.
Wow.
I haven't seen that
Yeah.
episode. I stopped watching in, like,
season
a long time ago, but
11. Season 11.
Man, I used to watch Family Guy
Or
all
12.
the time, but I haven't
Yeah.
watched in years.
The newest ones are not good. Like up to season 15, I still think it's good. After that is garbage. It's Disney garbage.
So is it like the Simpsons syndrome? Because I remember when I think the Simpsons, and me and millions of other people say this, like it stopped. We all watch up to season 8, and then it gets ridiculous after that. Like it's no longer a character driven show. It's just celebrity
Episodic.
of the week, and
Yeah, exactly.
it's episodic, and it's guest celebrity of the week, and then what was it? Like they did an episode with Skinner is not really Skinner. Principal Skinner is not really.
Oh,
Principal
but
Skinner.
I don't know. Like I'm my knowledge of Simpsons, because like again I started watching it when all of these seasons, like up to the season 11 and 12 and 13, they were already out. So I was watching not only the old seasons, the good seasons, but mixed with the new ones. So I always like the new ones. I will say that the Simpsons dies. Literally, the Simpsons dies up until season 20 is 20 up to from season 20 and on is complete and utter garbage Disney bulk, and it's because Fox got Disney bought Fox after season 21, and they stopped doing good things, and now it's just like basically
Are you talking Simpsons or Family Guy?
No, Simpsons. Yeah, Simpsons. No, Family Guy is still in season 22, I believe. 22.
Yeah, it would be season 30 actually, because Disney acquired Fox, I think, in 2021. Or no, 2020.
Way before. No, way before.
2015.
Yeah.
No, way before.
No, they didn't. They didn't acquire it before. Not 2015.
Then what happened?
Disney acquired Fox like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
No. It's longer than that.
It's a little bit longer than that.
Well, when did Iger leave? Iger left in 2020, right before the pandemic happened. So it was probably 2019. It was like the last thing he did before he left.
Yeah. You're right.
It was right before Disney Plus launched, I think, and Disney Plus is almost 4 years old.
They
Yeah.
announced that they were selling to Disney in 2017, but it was completed in 2019. So
Okay.
it was a long process. That's why.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I thought that it was when Disney bought Fox. But it was entirely going to like from season 9. I think season 19 was the last good season of The Simpsons because of the house of on the tree house. It was pretty imaginative and pretty cool because they started doing the parody of some movies and shows after that, and it got really bad. Like they did a parody of Guardians of the Galaxy, some stupid dumb things like that, and and Game of Thrones and things like that, which were terrible. The newer Simpsons are completely awful. Even Family Guy nowadays, even though they are written by Centennials, Family Guy is still better than the Simpsons.
Centennials,
You know, Gen
Millennials?
Z.
millennials.
No, Gen
Centennials.
Z is Centennials. Yeah.
I haven't heard that term.
I've never
Mm-hmm.
heard that term either. I've heard Zoomer.
Yep.
Yeah.
But early Simpsons, the way they handled did pop culture references was awesome.
Yeah.
Like there was an episode, I think it was season 4 or season 3 of The Simpsons. Homer gets a vibrating chair, a nice vibrating chair for the living room. He goes and he puts it on. You know what he sees? Have you ever seen 2001: Space Odyssey with all the lights coming to him? They showed that, and that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And you see his eyes changing color because of the way the chairs vibrating. Yeah, and the same with they did Planet of the Apes. Now, want a musical I want the Planet of the Apes musical that they did in The Simpsons. That's a good musical. Help us, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
I need to watch that. I haven't seen a lot of The Simpsons.
To chimpanzee, like that. That is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's better than Stranger Worlds.
I haven't watched a lot of The Simpsons. I've seen episodes here and there, but their version of the Raven is so good. Edgar Allan Poe.
That was the first. I think that was the very first Treehouse of Horror.
It's incredible. It's genuinely good.
And Bart's the Raven.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I have a bias for season 8 to 12 because those were like the first show I ever had in like.
That's where it was started declining.
It started declining. Yes, it started declining, but it's still not as bad as.
But you don't notice the decline when you're a kid, okay?
Exactly. I was a kid, and that was the first TV show I ever bought. Like that's the first DVD for a TV show I ever bought, and I would go on these long trips with my father, and we would just watch The Simpsons over and over again. It was always funny. It was always funny, even if you watch it 3 times, 4 times during the trip. I don't know. It's so good memories with The Simpsons. I really loved it. I hated what it became. Completely hated when they made the parody out of the Star Wars movies. Oh my god, I wanted to die. That like oh my lord.
Family Guy did that.
No. The new ones.
The new Simpsons, yeah.
The new Simpsons, they did the sequels.
They
did the sequels.
No,
they did the sequels.
Gross.
Yes,
Awful.
that's
Gross.
why I was watching. I was watching because I was wanted to watch Star Wars again, and I was looking for all the in Fox, for the episodes. On the no, it's not Disney Channel, is Star. I mean, for us in Latin America, it's called Star. The app where all the Fox stuff is. So all the episodes of The Simpsons, all the episodes of Family Guy are there. So I was looking for the episode of Family Guy, and apparently the sequels were done by Maggie. By Maggie. Yes. She's Ray. Yes, she's Ray. Yes. It's awful. It's god awful. It's one of the worst things that I've seen from The Simpsons, and it's
Maggie
embarrassing.
the baby, the one that
Maggie the baby, yes, Maggie the freaking baby, yes, Maggie the baby. I hated when they did the short stories with Maggie when she doesn't talk. I hated them.
Yep.
Hated them. Despised them.
I'm
Imagine
looking
that
up
in a
how
half an hour. Yeah, look for them. You're gonna
The Force Awakens from
cringe.
its map.
You're gonna cringe out of The Force Awakens from his nap. Exactly. You're gonna cringe out of this world.
I got a question. Did you guys like The Force Awakens when it came out?
No,
I did.
it's trash, absolute trash, rehash.
Retroactively,
I
I
defended it.
but I liked it at the time. I saw its flaws. I said it was basically a rehashing of everything, but I was just excited to see Star Wars again.
The thing with I was curious about it. I wasn't excited for it, but I was curious about it. And I went and saw it, and I thought it started okay, but then the first thing I noticed that made it go downhill was when Poe Dameron's like, who talks first? You talk first, or I talk first? And then I'm just like,
that's the first scene, dude.
Yeah, well, it was awesome leading up to that point. I mean, I was just like, right away, right away when I heard this is about to make things right, I was like, oh, okay, they're ripping on the prequels right there. So,
the Finn story, I thought it was going to be the best story.
Yeah,
I was having so much expectation. But they are racist, so they don't like black characters. So they're like, no, we're gonna to relieve him to.
I noticed right away. I like, okay, are they going to explain why Finn is doing what he's doing? We're like, why are you doing this? Because it's the right thing to do. Duh. Yeah. Well, why do you think it's the right thing to do? What makes you different from other stormtroopers? Especially
at least they showed him getting shell shock, and. But
that was a good thing, when he gets
it definitely could have used a little more exposition.
Like explain why. Like, is this a failure in the like a failure in the
I mean, he wasn't abducted the day before. He according to the movie, he was abducted since he was a kid. So what, did the brainwashing not work on him? What happened? I'll give Rise of Skywalker some credit. I know I think it's the worst of the three. I know I might be, but they kind of tried to address that.
Exactly.
I think it should have been addressed in The Last Jedi, but Rian Johnson had his own agenda that he wanted to, his own story, so to speak.
Yeah.
I thought Rey, like, why are these movies focusing on these newer characters first? Usually when you're passing the torch, you start with the characters that we know.
Yeah.
And then if let's say Han or Luke has to die, then we know these newer characters that they can take over and take over and continue the path that they started. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been better. That way they earn their place in Star Wars, and they earn their
fact that we never got to see all three of them together on screen is just the stupidest decision. Like, I was okay with it when it was just The Force Awakens, because I thought, but and then they
I somehow knew right away that they weren't gonna have a scene with him. The movie was gonna end with her going up to him, and I was right. But then I left the theater realizing that they're never going to that Han's dead. They murdered Han. Han's not coming back. So when we saw him in Rise of Skywalker, I was like, what the hell is this? I mean, he's not a Force user, so they can't make him a Force ghost. Like, how are you going to bring him back? Oh, it was in his mind. Kylo Ren somehow feels bad for what he did. Okay. I mean, like, how, like they because of
the
Game
most
of Thrones,
undeserved redemption arc of all time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was just like, I was thinking, how are they going to do this? I mean, I thought I heard originally that they weren't going to redeem him.
No,
that's what Colin Trevorrow had in mind. The Duel
of the Fates. Yeah, I've read the script. No.
Yeah, who read that? The same person that recommended Picard season 3, but that's beside the point. Mr. Burnett. I don't. If he liked it, that's fine. If people liked it, that's fine. It's
not the greatest thing ever. It was way better than what we got.
That's true. But yeah, Duel of the Fates actually was interesting. And as much as people might dislike The Last Jedi, I would rather had a movie that tried to follow up on The Last Jedi and maybe make The Last Jedi better. Because sometimes if you have a good follow-up, a good sequel,
it makes Jedi introduced some really interesting ideas.
Yes.
At least he, I
sit
totally
down.
understand that a lot of people didn't like, what happened to Luke, but I
didn't.
genuinely liked the idea that the Force is for everyone, like the and the little kid at the end. I thought that was really cool.
I was surprised they didn't follow up. Maybe
I know.
I was surprised they didn't follow up on that.
Yep.
So dumb.
come on, Broom Boy should have gotten an arc.
But they saw Endgame and said, let's just do that, but for Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, when I first saw The Force Awakens, I told all my friends this is going to be trash. Disney is going to ruin Star Wars like they ruin the rest. I
wasn't jaded
every
yet.
What was ruined back then? Because that like especially 2012 was when
they had started doing a couple of their live action remakes, right?
Yeah, Lion King.
There was like two.
No.
No. The Lion King was they had done. I think they'd done
Beauty and the
Jungle Book.
Beauty and the Beast, and Jungle Book. Yeah, Jungle Book.
Jungle Book was actually good,
But Beauty and the Beast was.
it wasn't good because I've read reviews and everyone says it's good. So
trash. It's complete trash. It's completely
compared to the original animated.
Compared to the other remakes. Yeah, compared to the other remakes, the Beauty and the Beast is the worst.
Well, I don't know.
I don't
think
know.
It's one of the better remakes, but it's
Little
still
Mermaid.
doesn't hold a candle to the original.
No. The thing that they did to Gaspar and no. We had to watch that again to like check it out, because when I saw it, I hated it, and before I watched the movies, before I watched the Force Awakens, I watched the fourth one, the first one of the original. So that's why it was like, this is in the original. This is all the movie was like, this is the original. This is in the original. Oh, they make it's not it's not a dead station. It's a planet. Now it's a dead planet.
Death planet, yeah.
That was I was losing brain cells in the theater. I was like, what the hell? And then after that, the thing that they did with Solo, the thing that they did with Solo, I was like, oh, it got me so angry. Solo was my favorite character, not Luke. No, I always thought that Luke was a puss. No, not Leia. Leia was like a hillbilly. No. Han Solo. Han Solo was my favorite character. He was a badass, I love you. I know. And then he gets rid. Oh my god. And then they kill him. His son kills him out of the. And then they try. I don't even get me. I'm losing my brain. Don't even get me started with the sequels, because
for context,
I hated the Force Awakens. Yeah.
For context, Force Awakens came out in 2015. In December, so at the end of the year 2015. By that time, Disney was just barely starting. They'd made Alice in
2015.
So they made Alice in Wonderland in 2010, which that was technically a live action remake. That probably doesn't fall in the same category as the rest of these.
Nice.
They've done the Maleficent, which was, I hate the movie, but at least it wasn't a shot-for-shot remake. It was not a remake
at all. Yeah, it tried to do it. Oh, nice.
Even Alice in Wonderland tried to do something else.
It was new.
But Cinderella came out in March of 2015, and that was probably the first. I think I count that one as the first of the.
Yeah, Cinderella was
Disney
really, really bad.
Because that was the first one where they pretty much just did shot for shot. It's Cinderella. Add a couple things.
Yeah, and it blew my mind, because I was like, wait, why is it?
Those were beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of Cinderella type stories, but no one of those tried to do a 1-to-1. So I was like really, really confused about it.
Yeah.
With that was my first like experience with a remake. No, did I really have my timeline wrong? Because I knew that Disney was going to ruin Star Wars. It's not because they ruined something before that, but I just knew that Disney was trash back then, in that very same moment. So I knew that they were going to ruin Star Wars. When they first acquired Lucasfilm, I said, Disney is going to ruin Star Wars. Then they put The Force Awakens, and I told my friends Disney is going to ruin Star Wars. They were like, "No, you're crazy. You're crazy. It was a good movie. It was a good movie." And then we get Rise of Skywalker, and my best friend was like, when we got out of the theater, my best friend was screaming at me, like, saying shit, like, you know, saying like, "No, it's Luke Skywalker and drinking titty milk and Eddie and titty milk." And I was like, "I told you so. I told you so, brother. I told you so." Amen, my man.
I was in the same boat. Like on social media, I got into arguments with friends about the Force Awakens and about like just I thought it was such a disservice to especially the way they did Han. I mean, just the way they handled Han's. Okay, I'm not going to spoil it. Everybody knows he's dead, and the way he died, he died like a villain. He died like a villain, and and
tossed him into the main reactor of the Death Planet.
Yeah, and I was like, seriously, like he better not fall. He fell, and then he falls, and then they don't, and then they I guess they forgot about him because I guess he wasn't important enough to the to the story because Qui-Gon Jinn, he gets killed by Darth Maul. Spoiler alert. They had a funeral for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had a funeral for him, and
They
treated his character, who was made up for for episode 1, and they gave him more respect than they gave Han Solo, a character who's been around since the very first Star Wars. Yep. You know, he was part of the reason why Star Wars is iconic. The original trilogy is iconic.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. He's one of the main pillars. Yes.
Worse than that of them killing off the character, I think, was how they treated his relationship with Leia.
And his son, like he was a deadbeat
arc from the original. Is he's a scoundrel and he doesn't care for anybody, and he learns to put that selfishness aside and serve the greater good and fall in love with Leia and be chivalrous. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, things aren't working out."
They undid all that.
Hollywood hates fathers, okay?
And when he comes back in the original trilogy, he's like, "Holy moly!" You know, he's like, "I'm back, kid," and he's like, "Yes."
Yeah, they disregarded his character arc. They undid all the progression that
he literally just goes back to smuggling.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? Like,
and somehow
like
people let him talking in the process.
Yeah, it's lazy and it's
they never explain.
It's hack writing. It's writing.
I was still in the honeymoon phase, so like I knew that there were problems with it, but I was excited for excited for more Star Wars, and I felt like
I got in fights with all my family members. That I call them posters. Like I call them Star Wars posters. My aunt, she was like 50 at the moment, so she saw the original trilogy before me, obviously, when she was a kid. So I was like calling her, "You're a poser. You don't know anything about Star Wars," because they liked the first movie. And then the other two came, and they were like, "Oh my Lord, you were so right."
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah,
but it's just you know who wrote this? You know who wrote that movie? Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan wrote the movie with J.J. Abrams, the guy that wrote Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. He was obviously out of the game. He's obviously past his prime. He didn't give a shit, obviously. And his son single-handedly ruined Solo and Willow. John Kasdan.
Exactly.
Yep.
For by making Lando
That's
Calrissian,
his son.
John
oh my gosh!
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
How did
he's responsible for Willow?
He is. He was the showrunner.
My Lord.
And
no wonder they took that show out of the freaking Disney.
And how did he get his job? Oh,
nepotism.
Nepotism. He's related to his father, much more talented father, who co-wrote the screenplay for Raiders of the Lost Ark, classic.
Oh my!
Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and he went on to direct a lot of movies. Big Chill's one of them.
Yep.
That's almost
just saying.
That's almost as embarrassing a legacy as Frank Herbert's kid.
Are those books that bad? Are Brian Herbert and I forget his writing partner? Are they that bad?
I've heard horrible things. Yes.
I
haven't read them yet. But
I have a confession. I still have not finished reading the first Dune book. I want to do this before Dune 2 comes out. I keep telling myself
you got to do it.
Like I have it. I have the audiobook and I have the I have the actual book on my Kindle right now. So I hear it gets weird. Like I hear
it does. It gets
one
wonderfully
of Paul
weird.
Atreides' kids is a worm.
Yeah. It's the best one.
And was
The
that
God
children?
Emperor of Dune. It's the best book. It's so good.
God, that's what
He
it's called.
tried to do a space worm. Okay, it's awesome.
Is that the last one by Frank
That's 4.
Herbert?
No, so he wrote 6.
Yeah.
So 1 and 2 have like a pretty good arc, and then 3 and 4 have another arc. And then he started writing 5 and 6 with the intention of going somewhere, and then he died, and then his son picked it up and dropped the ball.
So was book 7 supposed to be his like final book or something? That he never made or something?
It was going to be like 1 or 2 more. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of like you were like Robert, like because when Robert Jordan passed, it was he was planning to write one final book, but then like with Brandon Sanderson, it had to be split into 3. And I asked Pips and a few other people, and they believe that he would, if Robert Jordan lived, he would have written like 4 or 5 more books.
Oh yeah, so, he was because he was branching out. He was making it bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And then shoot, I'm dying. Make it smaller. Wrap everything up. Crap.
Oh no.
Man. Yeah. But you gotta respect Robert Jordan for just
he cared about his story.
The dedication to his fan base, and knowing, hey, I'm spending the last years of my life taking as many notes as possible and trusting my wife to find someone to just finish the story so that my fans aren't disappointed. Like,
yeah, what he did was,
like there are so many other things to start caring about when you find out you're dying.
Yeah, and he was,
he's just like, I can't let them down. What a man!
He was on his deathbed, and he was telling his wife orally how the story pans out. I mean, he did take notes, but I mean, he literally told his wife everything that happens, and she took the notes, I believe.
Yeah, so, I think he orated them to her. Yeah,
and I think he wrote some of the finale. I believe I know some.
Yes. So basically, he outlined the whole story. When he found out he was dying, and tried, he's like, I can probably do it myself. So he wrote The Knife of Dreams, and you can tell it kind of like everything's like getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's kind of leading to a conclusion. The Knife of Dreams is like, oh crap, I'm dying. Whoop, let's try and tie things up. And then he realized I'm out of time. I'm not going to be able to finish it. And so made copious notes, a whole bunch of outlines. He wrote a couple of scenes. There were a couple of scenes with Matt particularly that he wrote. And the epilogue of the book is his writing. Okay. And so basically, Brandon Sanderson had to fill in the gaps, right? So he knew the storylines, and he just had to write like the dialogue and crap, Yeah. So
that's the Wheel of Time. Yeah. That's the entire Wheel of Time. So he did finish basically. I mean, he basically finished it. Okay, that's the only book I'm going to read, because Dune. When would you just say about Dune that no, I don't want to read Dune anymore.
It was supposed to
I
be
wanted to read Dune.
The plan was to just finish it off in one final book, but he took so many notes. He had so many plot lines to take care of. Brandon Sanderson was like, I mean, technically you can think of the last 3 books as one book, but it's so long, we're going to do it in 3 books.
Yeah. Do you? Going back to Dune really quickly. Do you think they're going to make more Dune after part 2?
Yes, they're making one more. So
has it been confirmed they're going to do Dune Messiah?
You gotta do Dune Messiah. It doesn't. So that's what finishes the first arc of the story. Okay. Dune 1 is not a complete story.
It's not.
No. Well, I mean, sure it is, but Dune Messiah puts it all together.
Okay.
And then if you start Children of Dune, you need to finish. So look, if you're gonna start it, you need to read the first 2 books. If you want to keep going, you need to read the next through 4.
Have you ever seen the miniseries of Dune? The one the sci-fi. I think it was sci-fi.
Yeah, it was the Sci-Fi Channel. They did the Dune book. I haven't seen that one yet. I own it now, and I'm gonna watch it. And then they adapted
Children of
Dune Messiah and Children of Dune in the second series, because the first one was very, very low budget.
Yeah.
but people really liked it because it was faithful, and
Yeah.
so they adapted the next two with a lot more money, and I've heard everyone loves it. It's a
Yeah.
little bit cheesy, but
How do you
I
feel
hope-
about? Sorry,
Mhm.
how do you feel about David Lynch's movie, the original 1984, with the Toto soundtrack and all that?
I love the movie. It is a horrible adaptation,
Yeah,
but I love it.
it was just
It's
it was
David
a
Lynch.
weird one. Yeah, David Lynch.
It's so fun to watch.
It's
though.
literally David Lynch in galore. David Lynch galore, literally.
It's fun.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. Yeah, it's entertaining. It's
And
not as good, obviously, as this Dune. Like this one is way better.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve, his plan, he always wanted to do 3 movies out of the first 2 books.
Because one thing I was curious about was that the first movie did not do well in the box office.
Did
Same
it?
with Blade Runner
It
2049.
was not a bomb. It made money. It didn't. It didn't make as much as they wanted. It was the first. That was the first movie out of the pandemic that was, but people were still inside. It was whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So,
But
it
people
did
are
make money.
stupid. People are stupid. In my country, like for example, in my country, that's the reason that I hate the culture here. Everyone was telling me Dune is so boring. Dune is so stupid, and I was like almost beating people to slapping people across the face. I was telling Dune is, even if the story is not complete, even if you can argue that the story is not complete,
It's still good.
even if you argue it's boring, the sole thing about the VFX, only the
It's-
VFX are an accomplishment.
It is a visual snack.
It
baby.
is a visual masterpiece. Not only visual, but the sound and the sound design and the actors as well. Everything is beautiful. It's just beautiful. And I was just losing my mind. Everyone in Mexico was telling me, "Oh, that movie is so boring. It's so stupid." I was like,
As far as adaptation goes as well, I think it's the best adaptation I've
let
seen.
me check what
ever.
other movie, because there was
Like not
another
just in
movie.
Dune, like anything from book to movie.
Oh
I
my
think
god,
it's
there
the
was another
best thing I've seen.
movie in the theaters in the very same time that Dune was in the theaters, and everyone in Mexico was saying, "Oh, that other movie is way better," and I was like, I need to get the freak out of here. Yeah,
What was it?
Jesus. Dune.
Was it the James Bond?
No. It was a dumb rom-com, some stupid.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Let me check it out. You just guys talk about it, about anything else, and I'm going to look it up because I'm freaking traumatized by that. So it went October 22nd.
Oh, the anime one.
Yeah, the video that
I'm
I
gonna watch it. I'm
recently
gonna watch it.
uploaded. So yeah, so if everybody, if you want a good space opera that is better than anything modern to this day, definitely check this series out. Well, sorry, upside down. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It's on High Dive. Or if you're friends with me and can DM me, I might be able to know.
Venom.
Venom.
Yes,
You have
they like
dumb
Venom.
friends.
They were not my friends. They were my ex's friends, and I should have run. I should have run away from that crazy dumb. I'm not gonna say the word. But
Oh,
that
man.
crazy girl, I should have run away when I heard that thing about Dune. I was like, what? And I saw it on 3D IMAX, with 4DX. I was like having the full experience. I was high also, so I had the full experience of Dune. The full experience, because I bet
You gotta
that
go
Denis
see Dune
Villeneuve-
on the Spice Melange. The spice must flow.
But yeah, so I understood, like I can explain how amazed I was by Dune. It literally, I didn't think that movies could be
Yeah.
like that. It was almost the
There-
same sensation that I felt when I first watched The Next Generation for the first time. When I first watched Star Trek for the first time, I was mind blown. I because I'm from Mexico, we don't get that many fancy things. We don't get that many, wow, the 8 pictures.
That's all the motion pictures.
Yes.
The
Nice.
original 6. This is the original. I have the Next Generation one. I just don't have it next to me. So yeah,
Oh,
this is for Mark. Mark wants to see what was on my shelf back there. So it's all a bunch of Blu-rays. I'm trying to replace it with 4K. Although I'll be honest, some of the 4Ks, I think studios are sabotaging the efforts in favor of streaming,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
bullshit, in my opinion. But
There's been a whole history of
Mhm.
the HD releases.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Dune for me, like Dune is really
I
near
got
to my
Dune.
heart. I never believed that someone was someone was capable of having a story like that. And then because I didn't know about the books, I didn't know about the about the David Lynch movies or about the sci-fi show. So I was like mind blown, and I wanted to get into the reading of the books.
Books are so good.
Yeah, I'm going to read the first 4, the 5 and the 6, and I'm going to not read. There's a 7. You mentioned a 7.
Yeah. So his kid wrote 7 and 8 that finished the story, but it's not. But you can stop at 4.
Yeah, because Paul, I don't want to see
Five
Paul
and six,
Atreides turned
five
as a
and six,
worm.
we're setting up stuff that never get paid off, and
Thank God.
and so you can comfortably stop at 4. You can
All
stop
right.
at 2 if you want to.
No,
But
because I
4
want to
is
get
my
there
favorite
because but Denis de Villeneuve being a blah, 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 this guy
Villeneuve.
wanted to
Villeneuve.
this guy
David
wanted to make
Vanilla.
the first or the second book into the movies. Like
Yes,
the
so
movies is
he's
just the first
doing.
one.
He split Dune in the first book into 2 movies, and then the third book in 1. The third one is a lot shorter, so you can do that. So
That's good to know.
He's adapting Dune and Dune Messiah, but he's making it a trilogy of movies.
Yeah, but he is a genius. He's an absolute genius.
Yeah,
And
I've
that's
never been like more excited for a movie, probably since The Force Awakens. Like the anticipation of Dune Part 2 for me.
yes.
So, especially since I saw the trailer, they had to skip over a lot of things in Dune Part 1, and I saw in the trailer that they're bringing it back in, like more of the lore that they had to gloss over. It's really cool.
Yeah, for an entire year, I was like, "Give me that spice, give me that spice."
So it looks like they are still intending to make part 3, depending on how part 2 does. So I think part 2 is going
That's
to
the
do pretty
thing.
good. So
I don't know. I am worried about the word box office. I'm worried about Mexico. Like Mexico is a big box office. For example, for Barbie, Mexico was the second biggest country in the box office, like with like 50, 60 million, something ridiculous like that. And I mean, I'm talking about the second, third week. Like this week that just passed, it made 60 million just in Mexico, which was the second place in the whole world.
I think
First one is obviously America.
I think Dan Vanilla has enough good grace with the studios. He's got enough. He's got a good enough track record that. I mean,
yeah, but I'm just genuinely worried about the freaking the smartness of my people. You know, my country
hey Jacob,
is ridiculous. Is ridiculous. Like in my country, they will rather watch Barbie than Oppenheimer. Like nobody I know watch Oppenheimer. They all watch Barbie though, and they all lost their minds and they were like clapping like seal. Oh, the speech in the ending of Barbie was so good. Oh, women
I
women
guess
are so worried about being beautiful. Oh,
well,
yes.
I guess it works. I guess modern audience is a thing, and where you're at, I don't know, but
I mean, it
Would
works
they-
if you dumb it down like that. Yeah.
all this talk right now makes me want to. I see. I only watched Dune once, the remake with, or not the remake, the Denis Villeneuve one. I have the 4K. I just never opened it. I have only watched it in the theater once. So us talking about this now makes me want to open that 4K and watch it right now. So
Do it.
Makes me want to renew my HBO, but I'm going to do it when it's about to come out, like before, like a month before, so I can watch it like 3 or 4 times.
I'm really
on
excited.
my freaking sound system. No, I want to blow my own mind. Like, yeah, I love that movie. I watched it 3 times in the theaters, first in IMAX, then 4DX, and then in just regular real D because there was no left. I watched it with my ex, and she was like, "I don't get it. I don't get it."
What
Yeah. I,
talking about the sorry, you say
Poor
your thing.
David.
yeah.
You're trying to get something. I know how you feel, David.
You go,
It's
you go.
it's chaotic sometimes on this stream. No, I understand that Dune Part 1 didn't do as well as they had hoped in the box office, but it had a slow burn and it's gotten more and more popular since the theatrical release. They've had so many, like, just speaking from the board game perspective, they've released so many board games themed in the Dune universe. There's one that is super, super popular right now called Dune Imperium, and it's already had 2 expansions to it. It's really, really popular behind the scenes, and the
Yeah,
popularity
it's had time
grown.
to develop like a cult following. You know?
Not only
Exactly.
that, but I do believe, for
I think-
example, yeah, when they were releasing HBO, the HBO Max
That was
package,
that was one of the first ones.
that was one
where
of the first, like that
they
was
released
my
it
reason.
simultaneously.
Yeah,
I bought tickets to go see it opening week, and my wife watched it before me.
Yeah,
on streaming.
Yeah, so I think that kind of hurt the numbers as well, but they were hoping to get subscribers to HBO Max.
They did,
so,
like
and they did. Yes,
I subscribed for Dune. I wanted to watch that thing in 4K. Yes.
Yeah, so I think Dune Part 2 is going to do very well in the box office.
Yes, it's going to do way better than the first one.
I think it will. I think it will too. It just it looked good. How do you know how it did, like with streaming and with physical media sales? Like, did they were they sold pretty well?
I assume it did pretty well. Yeah.
Okay.
I think with the streaming, they said that they had lots of people tune into that on HBO Max, but as far as DVD sales or Blu-ray, I don't know.
You said board games. Did they make any like apps or any like phone games or anything, video games or?
I haven't seen any video games.
I have here the domestic DVD and Blu-ray sales.
Okay.
3 million for DVDs, 15 million for Blu sales, so 19 million overall. And the box office, the worldwide, the 391 million, but that's 2021, like 2021 numbers. So it's I think it's adjusted to inflation is close to 500 million.
Yeah, for a movie that you could literally see for basically free on HBO, in making that much money, still making that much money in theaters and making its money back. Dune Part 2 is going to be great.
And was not releasing a good. I don't believe it was releasing a good week. Like the week from October 22nd to November 22nd. It was not like it's one of the worst probably weekends because it's really near to holidays, but it's not quite the holidays.
There's a Dune RPG coming out, but it's not out yet.
No, to answer your question, there have been. Last year there was a Dune RTS game that's released on Steam, Dune Spice Wars, and then there's another one, Dune Awakening, that's coming out. They have teaser trailers up, releasing on PS5 and PC.
Oh, this is sad. Dune did worse than Shang-Chi. Damn.
Yeah, but again, this Dune Part 1 was one of the first movies that they played in the theaters opening up after COVID, and they released it at the same time on HBO Max.
Yeah, so that's the issue.
That hurt the box office.
I think Dune was one of the first video it was one of the first earliest streams I ever did. I actually did a stream right after seeing it in the theater. So
nice.
And this was when I was a sweet summer child. I didn't know how to run streams or anything. So so it's still up. It's still up on the channel. But yeah, I do want to rewatch this now after talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to the Toto soundtrack of
it's a good soundtrack. I like the old Dune movie too. It's good.
Yeah. I got both of them.
But you know what? It had a better opening weekend than most movies nowadays. He had $41 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
Which was, in my opinion, was really good. It just slowed down probably because everyone was just watching it and there was no mouth to mouth, and the mouth to mouth was like, "Oh, Dune is incomplete. It's incomplete. There's a part 2. Just watch part 1 when you watch part 2."
That's a great quote from the books. You have to understand the time period to understand the person, and you can't, judge them based on your morals.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's very relevant, isn't it? Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Did you guys
bit.
hear that Lizzo news?
No. Oh.
Oh, I
Yeah.
try to avoid.
Don't even mention it. Not even mention it. The stream is going to like I try to put the video and I don't even say any bad words in the video, and it got demonetized in
Okay.
1 second.
She's being sued because she made her performers eat bananas out of holes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Actually, just by mentioning her name, I think that you're gonna get like limited ads.
Yeah,
Just by that.
we're 3 hours in, baby. I think we're safe.
Oh,
We're
you're
safe.
right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Hey,
You're right. I
bananas.
forgot about that.
Did you? But apparently they're doing another Gal Gadot Wonder Woman.
Oh
So
no.
once again, James Gunn is a filthy liar.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna lose all of his credibility. He's going to lose any chance that he has in life. He's going to be producing indie movies like when he started doing movies like BS horrible horror, corny horror movies
Ugh.
because he's going to mess this up. He's not talented. He's one of the most overrated directors of our time, in my opinion. The whole freaking Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one was great. Second one was trash. The third one was trash. The third one, in my opinion, was just like
I like the second one. I actually like
the second one. I like the second one way better than the third one. Way better.
I didn't see the
Because
third
it's
one.
way more. Don't watch it. It's just like emotional damage, emotional manipulation.
I'm totally disengaged from MCU. Like
Yeah.
I saw Spider-Man with my friend. I actually really loved Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because they kind of remembered it seems like they forgot how to write, like real stakes in a movie, and they needed freaking Willem Dafoe, who is like senior citizen, to provide real stakes as a real villain.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, seriously, like,
Yeah.
But Willem Dafoe is better actor than ever. Like
yeah.
The
Dude,
Lighthouse, and he has.
I
he has
haven't seen
a
the
solo
Lighthouse
movie.
yet.
Have you watched the solo movie that he just put out? Like I don't know if that movie, the Northman.
This
love The Northman.
is a great movie. The Northman. Go see The Northman.
So good.
This movie does not follow any of the rules. Does not follow any of the rules that Hollywood's been putting.
Because those rules are dumb.
Yeah,
Yes.
it literally felt like an old school movie. I felt like I was watching Conan the Barbarian, but with an actual good story. Literally.
Like you feel like you're in freaking, you feel like you're in freaking Norway or Iceland or wherever.
Mhm.
Like there's no, this and that, and
Diversity and yeah.
like that's how the freaking Witcher should have been. Witcher is based off of Polish folklore.
Indeed.
Jerks.
Man. I still can't get over the fact that they had to put whiteface on the black actress that they cast for the redhead character in the second season because everyone hated it.
That was so funny.
Galactus is going to be the villain in Fantastic Four because that's
Makes sense, yeah.
Galactus should be the next Thanos,
Mm-hmm.
but they're bringing him out way too soon.
And he's Latino.
He's gonna be Latino, baby.
like what was that? What was that dude's name?
It's gonna be a Mexican.
Who was it? Like was it Gamor or something? Is that Lamore or
Glorlock?
No, in the Namor.
El Namor. El niño sin amor.
Yeah.
When you said that, because I still haven't seen the movie. When you said that, I thought you were making a joke, but it's in the movie.
Yeah, I thought that it was not going to be.
He's called Namor because he's a niño sin amor.
But they say it in the movie. I thought it was a joke by this girl, like Victoria Alonso, who is fired. They fire her as finally.
Yeah,
But
baby.
this guy is
Victoria
going to be
Alonso's
Latino.
done.
He's a planet eater. How is he Latino? Ni cholo vato Latino.
Hey,
güey,
it's like
Mexico is more obese than the United States now. Okay.
The dark one in the Wheel of Time. Prophet calls him a Subaru a salesman, and I don't like. I think I think he might be, what was he, Indian or something? But he looks so nice. He looks so friendly. I think the Aes Sedai. I think Moraine is a bigger villain than him.
Mhm.
Like she puts a dagger to Rand's neck.
She
And he's
does.
Yeah.
like who is this? Like, what are these
She also-
shows for?
Moraine freaking just submits Matt to the mercies of the Red Aja, knowing they will probably kill him.
Yep.
In the show.
Oh, is that
In the show?
Yeah.
She calls the Red Aja
Takes
up.
the Red
She
Aja
sends
to
that
find
one
Matt.
lady. She says, "Go send a message to the Red Aja and say, hey, go look for Matt and probably execute him."
Yeah, but
yeah.
hey, this is the representation we
But-
want. An obese planet eater.
It's reported there were rumors Margot Robbie would be playing Sue Storm,
Oh, no.
but she says the reason she declined is because she has plans that day.
Oh, she's busy.
I mean, she's the busiest actress in Hollywood right now, literally.
Yeah.
She's the most. She right now. She just became and she's tied with Chris Pratt being the most profitable actor of 2023 because Chris Pratt did Mario Bros and specifically Mario, because I don't think, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy also did pretty good.
It made 800 million.
And Jurassic World.
Pretty good. Oh, but
that's
Dominion is last year. But Dominion is last year.
Dominion.
I'm
Dominion
not
was
saying they were good.
terrible.
I'm saying he was in a big franchise.
I have,
No, but they were saying
I,
like 2023.
I have to say, it's Dominion. Oh my god, it felt like Sam Neill felt like he was in the back. I felt like Sam Neill was in the background in the movie, whereas Laura Dern was was brave and the other thing that people say.
Stupid.
And then Tim Cook of Apple was the villain. Well, I'm sure he's the villain in real life, but Tim Cook was the villain in that movie.
And the random black intern was the hero.
And not only Monsanto was also the villain. Somehow. I don't even get me started on that movie. I hated
GMOs were the bad guys.
I
Dominion.
hated that movie so bad. I watched it again. I watched it with my ex, and she liked it. And I was like, I was going off at the screen in the movie. I was screaming out loud, "What the heck are we watching?" And not only that, but I watched it in 4DX. So whenever the freaking the dinosaur that spit in your face, then the 4DX would spit on my face, freaking
the Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, the freaking.
Remember that? Remember Barry?
Yeah, exactly. But I hated it because this freaking 4DX was spraying things in my eyes, and I was like, I got pink eye out of that freaking when I went to the movies. I from that far, I'm never going to go 4DX again in Mexico at least.
You know the Simpsons meme, am I out of touch? No, it's the kids who are wrong.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's the worst take ever. Yeah.
Blame the viewers for your shit.
By the way, American, like they didn't say Mexican. I would believe that the Mexican audience is way dumber than the American. Like way dumber. Like the Americans are smart in comparison to the Mexicans. Goddamn, or any other country by that matter. You guys have like at least decent educational.
You say don't hit on the Lizzo stuff, and then you say stuff like that'll get me canceled.
Oh, I'm Mexican.
Mexicans are all dumb idiots, baby.
You're
smash that subscribe button, everybody.
You're the how are the LA Times? But you're the certain face of certain supremacy.
He's the white face of the white face of Mexican supremacy.
There you go. Perfect.
No, but realistically, like even in statistics, Americans are way smarter than Mexicans just because you guys have access to more information.
It's okay for the angry Mexican to make jokes. He has friends that are racist.
Yeah. But also this statement is also really stupid because it's probably the young, dumb college students that are woke that
they're probably the only ones watching the show.
Yeah. Literally, everyone turned out when they were getting rid of like Henry Cavill. Everyone in the like not even conservative, but like centrist, libertarian even, were saying like, why are you getting rid of the main reason why this show is decent?
The only reason people are still watching the garbage. Yeah. Gosh, Henry Cavill.
And we were right. Season 3 was completely awful. Like no wonder he ran away of that. He has interviews where he roasting his own fighting scenes. Yeah, remember I mentioned that before, and in the show, like he mentions that there's an actor that they reuse in the fighting scene.
Yeah,
that is the first person that he killed in the show, and he remembers that because he's the first person that he killed in the show. So they recycled the guy in the very last episode of the season, and he's like, why?
That happens a lot with stuntmen, but you have to like put a mask on it,
Yeah. No, it's his bare face. You can tell yourself if you put attention. Yeah. Never seen the Chris Pratt Jurassic movies?
I'll say
Don't
the
watch
first
them.
one is worth watching. Don't watch the rest. The first one is bad, but it's fun also. It's
entertaining.
Like, hey, this is not a great movie, but I'm having a good time.
And it's not The Force Awakens. It has like it not rehashed things. It copies a lot from the first movie.
It has a lot of charisma.
Yeah, it has charisma. It has nostalgia.
It's dumb. It's very dumb.
Good nostalgia. It's dumb as hell. The second one, just watch the beginning of the second one because the first scene.
The problem with the second movie is the reason that the first movie was bearable is because Chris Pratt is fun.
Mm-hmm.
The second movie, they give him no lines. He has no dialogue in the second movie.
It's all about
which is the only reason that you put Chris Pratt in a movie, because he oozes charisma.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
in the third one, the
best part about the second movie was the setup to the third movie. Like, oh, now we're going to get a Jurassic Park that we've never seen before, where dinosaurs are everywhere. It's a post-apocalyptic dinosaur wasteland.
And they forget.
We get the third one.
We get a news segment. Yeah.
That's all we get, and they forget about the whole concept after that. There's no even dinosaurs anymore running around the streets. The third one got me really angry.
It is in the exact same vein.
Oh no.
Tatiana Maslany had a very ironic statement bashing Bob Iger for not
what is she even saying? What
being out of touch, right, with the work. He's completely out of touch with the workers who make this happen and who make people watch these shows. Talk about being out of touch.
Talk about being stupid. Yeah,
I mean, I agree. I don't like Bob Iger, but I also don't like Tatiana Maslany.
The producers put the money, not the people working for the shows. The actual producers put the money, and then the people that bring the viewers are the characters, the from the comics, basically. You are the reason why people don't want to watch the show, girl. So shut up.
And then. I didn't play the stinger, but this is actually a screenwrite bad take. But it's Terry Pratchett's representative on Earth gives a verdict on Good Omens, saying Good Omens is doing so good. The representative on Earth for Terry Pratchett is just an old assistant that he used to have, who they paid to say that the show is good. And he says, "Oh, they're really making sure that Terry's voice is heard by throwing away his script."
That's bullshit.
Wow.
And they were saying that they were making the third season with the actual script of the second book. I mean, the first
they
part
hinted at it. The show ends with saying, "Hey, now we're going to do the Second Coming," which is what his script was about. But
they are not going
to be what Terry Pratchett wrote.
They're not gonna get a season 3. I don't think it's going to. You just have to wait like 1 week for this show to get canceled. I bet.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I haven't watched it.
Don't watch season 1. It's good. Season 1 is good.
One. Okay,
season 1's worth watching.
It's actually a very good adaptation.
Yeah.
I forget. Prophet liked it, right? He was talking about with you guys.
He loves season 1. Yeah.
By the way, everybody, subscribe to Prophet of the Dragon.
Prophet of the Dragon was
Nice.
supposed to come on the stream, but he's got work. He was supposed to come talk about Good Omens.
Yeah, Prophet. He works every shift, so he cycles through every shift. So you got to forgive him for that.
Mm-hmm. That's a hard worker.
We had a great stream with him last week.
Oh yeah, he's. I mean, I've been doing streams with him for over a year now. He's great. He's a great guy. So definitely,
He's a good guy. You're a good guy too.
Who?
You were a good guy too. I like both of you.
Well,
I was excited to finally get both of you on the same stream.
Yeah, I mean, we have a love-hate relationship. mostly love though, but yeah.
But he made you watch Picard season 3.
No, I made him. Okay. He is not a Star Trek fan. But you know how he is. He's very analytical and everything he watches. He's way more analytical than I am, and he's seeing all the shit that's wrong with it. Yep. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And I'm trying to like piece it together with canon because I'm the Star Trek guy, and it's still bad. And there were things that he didn't pick up on that as a person that's familiar with DS9. I saw like shit. Their mystery box thing didn't work for the very first scene of the show. Like I can't watch it. I can't rewatch it now, knowing that. Like the way they did the shapeshifters was just, oh god. It was terrible.
They didn't do anything with shapeshifters.
They didn't. Yeah, and then the Borgs were the bad guys all along. The Borg Queen was the.
I know it was all a bait and switch. Just like I guess we don't care. About the shapeshifters were at least interesting. They could have been interesting.
Yeah, they
turns out it was just the Borg.
Yeah, it was just bad Federation. Experimented on shapeshifters and without regarding the Dominion and. It's terrible. Like the Dominion, they would have brought those shapeshifters home because one thing that the Dominion, the founders cared about more than anything else was their own. Like when Odo killed a shapeshifter, spoiler alert, they punished his ass big time, and they still loved him. They still cared about him.
Mm-hmm. As bad as this take is, though, it's not as bad as this one. Good Omens is the asexual love story I've been waiting for.
Who the hell wrote this? Oh.
He'll be gone!
A girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Aziraphale is asexual, I guess.
LGBT plus representation.
It's because Neil Gaiman made a statement saying, hey, in season 2, can you please someone tweeted him saying, can you please normalize gay and queer labels, or at least acknowledge that Aziraphale or Anne Crowley are gay, bi, or pan? And Neil Gaiman responded, I wouldn't exclude the ideas that they are aromantic, or trans.
What?
They are an angel and a demon, not human. Yeah, sure, as per the book. They're also not gay, as per the book.
Yep.
But not only that, but they're not beings. Like they're not sexualized beings.
They're friends.
Yeah.
I hate this.
And they're an angel and a demon. At least have some respect for the demons. I know that they don't respect angels, but at least have some respect for the freaking demon. By God, like.
Okay. I do have a question though about Star Trek. So, when do you watch the movies?
Which
for TNG?
For TNG.
Yeah, I'll get around to watching all of the original series, but I'm watching TNG first.
Okay. The Generations happens right after season 7. So.
Okay. So not for a while.
So during season, So that takes place during season.
They're all. That's the last season. Okay, so the movies are just follow-ups to the show.
Yes. So the Generations.
Well, that makes it easier.
So Generations takes place like shortly, like before season 1 of Voyager and during season 3 of DS9. First Contact takes place during season 5 of DS9 and season 3 of Voyager. Insurrection takes place during the final season of DS9 because they actually mentioned the Ketracel White and the Dominion War, and that's part of the reason why they're doing what they're doing in Insurrection. And then Nemesis takes place after the end of Voyager and DS9. So, I mean, if you watch it all, I'm giving you chronological order way to watch it. So
yeah.
I
didn't know it was that easy. I thought you had to watch
way.
them in between seasons.
Yeah,
Is it the same way with the
was-
original series movies?
No, the original series movies takes place
They're
like
peppered in?
decades after the original series.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But
it's the same case.
if
You watch
you
the series and then you watch the movies.
If you watch the original series got canceled after 3 seasons. If the perfect way in my opinion to watch, to bridge the gap between that show and the movies, is to watch Vic Mignogna's Star Trek Continues, which is all on YouTube. It's basically a fan. It's a impeccable fan project that's on YouTube, and it's done with insane amount of love. And New Trek should be ashamed of itself that a fan series was made with more professionalism and with more love and care for the source material than what they're fucking doing.
Well,
I had
the
no
same
idea
thing
the
with
original
Star
series was so
Wars.
short.
Some of the Star Wars fan films that have been made out there, as the sequels were being made, are miles better than anything Star Wars has ever
Did you see the TIE Fighter anime one? That's a great one.
Yeah. And the Obi-Wan one,
better than the Disney Obi-Wan.
Oh,
one,
yeah.
right?
He was working on it for years, and it came out like right before the show came out. And I was like, this is what the show should have been. It was really good.
Yeah. I can't believe I can't believe like I like that's why I'm also so disengaged from Disney Star Wars. They ruined Luke and they ruined Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan should have been their best show. And you know what's their best show? Of all things, Andor. And I don't
imagine that.
And I know some people I know
It has
really like
no
Andor.
right to be the best Disney Star Wars property, but it is.
I mean,
Ahsoka is coming out this month. I just remember.
It's about a side character from a side movie.
That he's dead already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's dead?
It's the Black Widow. Imagine if Black Widow.
It's a spin-off of the Black Widow movie.
Imagine if Black Widow was the best movie in the MCU. Like that would have made us like mad. Which is like basically what Andor is.
But yeah. So keep in mind, Star Trek continues. That is an excellent. So it gave the original series a series finale in the vein of how Next Generation DS9 did their series finales. It perfectly transitions to the motion picture.
Okay, cool. Star Trek Continues. It's a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Did they do a whole series or?
Yeah, they did. Well, it's 11 episodes, but yeah, it was fan funded, and dude,
I'm subscribed.
Dude, that show is excellent.
The guy looks just like Spock. I mean,
yes,
Kirk.
Todd, Vic Mignogna. And you know what happened? You know what happened to him, right? You know he got canceled too.
He got canceled. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm amongst a good crowd.
Yeah.
Like one time, someone.
Dude, that's not. He looks just like him.
Yeah. He gets Shatner's mannerisms and dialogue delivery almost to a T.
All right, the Kirk looks a little funky. I mean, it's not Kirk. The Spock looks a little funky.
Spock is that's Todd Havercorn, but I'll be honest, his Spock is miles better than Ethan Pecker's Spock, and heck, I even like his Spock more than Zachary Quinto. So Todd Havercorn gets Nimoy down to a T.
This looks amazing.
It is, dude.
Yeah, how come
he has Big Mignogna? I didn't even know.
The sets are I if you just showed this to me, I wouldn't realize that it's not the original series.
Yeah.
Until I looked at their faces and I'm like, wait a second, that's not Spock.
Yeah. And you want to know how you haven't seen? Have you seen Have you watched the second pilot of the original series, Where No Man Has Gone Before?
The second pilot?
Yeah.
Was it? Is it not like part of the?
Wow, that's actually the name of an episode in the Next Generation.
Is it the second episode, or what?
The one in Next Generation is called Where No One Has Gone Before.
Oh,
In the original series, it's called because this was before, political correctness, Where No Man Has Gone Before. Because
Right.
So is the Cage the pilot then?
Cage is the first pilot. That's the one with Captain Pike.
Okay.
That's the one that Strange New Worlds was basing their entire series off of, but they couldn't even. Captain Pike is a hard ass. He is not the friend boss captain that we see in Strange New Worlds. Like the first time we meet Pike, he's like he is pissed off and he's tired of being a captain. Like he is completely jaded because a crewman died under his watch, and it was the doctor that kind of convinced him to stay on board and everything. And then the events of the episode, The Cage, influenced him to stay on as captain. That was the original basis for Star Trek. But then it got declined, so they made but I think Lucille Ball and Desilu Productions said, we think this has potential. So because of Lucille Ball's power in Hollywood and television, they gave Star Trek a second chance. So they made a second pilot. They couldn't get the original actor back that played Pike, so they created a new character named Kirk, and they hired William Shatner. So the only character that they kept from The Cage was Mr. Spock. So they made the second pilot, and the second pilot was about them going to the edge of the galaxy. There's a barrier. The barrier is made up of negative energy. And if you get anywhere near it, like the negative energy will strike you like lightning, and your eyes turn silver and you become super beings, and your power grows exponentially with time. So let's just say there's super beings in that episode with creepy silver eyes that need to be taken down because they start developing delusions of godhood and everything. And that's kind of what the finale of Continues is, because it takes you back to the beginning.
So that they have it listed as episode 4, Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Yeah, it's actually episode 2 production, but it's the third episode. It was the third episode aired. So they didn't air. They didn't air the pilot. They actually aired the Man Trap first.
Yes. And
so,
but I'm like on Paramount Plus, they have the Cage as episode 1. They have the Man Trap, and then Charlie X, and then Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Yeah, so they did it. They did air. They didn't do the production orders. They did the air date. They did the air date order. Okay. So so chronological. I think it was a bad idea. I think they should have done production order, but that's just me.
So production order then is The Cage, and then
Where No Man Has Gone
Before,
and then the Corbett, and then the Corbett Might Maneuver, and then Mud Women, then Enemy Within, then the Man Trap. Man Trap was episode 6.
What?
The studio,
what?
The network wanted the Man Trap to be the first. So the network made this decision. This wasn't.
Is the Man Trap like a really good episode, or
it's a horror episode? It's a slasher. Okay. It's literally a slasher episode.
So they just wanted to start off with like something.
Yeah, because they thought because when you think 50 science fiction, everybody thinks horror. You think them, the Ant movie, or you think Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla, even though it was science fiction, was also horror. So I mean, the Earth Stood Still and Forbidden Planet had horror elements too.
The production code is. It's just. I'm looking at the list. The production code is literally just a jumbled mess, except for the last 2 episodes are in order.
The reason why I know the production order of the episodes is because I used to own the VHS tapes back in the day.
Okay.
And the VHS tapes had the production order. So Where No Man Has Gone Before was listed as episode 2 on the VHS box. That's how I know. Yeah, that's how I know.
So they they pulled a Firefly.
Yeah, they did. More or less. I love Firefly, by the way.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
That's a shame. That show.
Such a shame.
That show didn't perform well.
Well, it's because partially
because they aired it out of order.
Yeah.
It didn't make a lick of sense.
And gave it a horrible slot, and it was doomed. But man, what a good show.
And I think Serenity did a very good job of, tying up most of the loose ends.
Yeah, Serenity's a great movie. You watch it now compared to the shit
I
that
love
they
Serenity.
make now. It's just
It's-
Serenity is like
Serenity.
just, mwah.
It's also like
Really good.
very conservative. Like the message of the movie is don't let the government chemically force you to be compliant.
That's true.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the people would have thought that was a democratic way to because or liberal. It's a liberalism. I mean, personal freedom and individual freedom. I don't know.
Oh, gee whiz. Okay, this production order is just messed up. But they aired it at Man Trap. Did they air the pilot, The Cage?
No, they didn't. They didn't
Never aired.
So what they did was they made a 2-parter because they ran out of scripts for season 1. So what they did was they made an envelope episode where they wrote an episode and incorporated the pilot into it. So there's a point where Spock gets court-martialed because he seizes the Enterprise, and they're like, "Why did you seize the Enterprise?" Well, if I tell you, you're not going to believe me. So here's a clip. Here's a clip. And so Kirk and Spock and the Commodore and Captain Pike, disabled Captain Pike in makeup, are watching The Cage. Basically,
That's funny.
They're not watching the entire episode. They're
Which
watching
episode?
all the. It's called the Menagerie, part 1, part 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they did show portions of The Cage. They didn't show the entire episode.
Okay.
Part of the episode is in color. Part of the episode's in black and white. If you watch the actual Cage, the entire episode of The Cage, the black and white stuff was not in the Menagerie. Only the colored portion was in the Menagerie.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't like how I said colored because it sounds problematic.
Okay, but so the pilot Where No Man Gone Before is the same as episode 3 or episode 4, right? They didn't change it. It's the same. They didn't refilm it.
No, they never refilmed it. So
all right, well, I gotta watch all of this now too. Maybe I'll.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it only had 3 seasons.
You guys got Discord, right? You guys have Discord servers or something?
The third season is like 3 seasons long, though. The third season is really, really long.
So I'd love to hop on. I'd love to hop on and watch an episode with you guys. I think it'd be perfect. How about you, Angry? How do you feel about that?
I don't know how to do that. I'm an old man. I don't know how Discord works. People send me links and I click on them.
I've been watching this with my boy Darplan a lot of the Next Generation. So we could definitely watch. We definitely need to watch it. Yeah. It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Just I can't organize it. Someone else do it, and I'll jump on.
I mean, I have a server. I could do it. I haven't used the voice channel in a long time. I was thinking of watching something.
It's within your server because mine is a little bit wild.
What episode are you on of TNG?
I'm currently. Let me check. I'm on the 8 or 7. Around those lines, but I can get in. I'm going to literally. I want right now to go watch TNG. Literally, that's all I want to do.
So was Justice the last episode you watched? The one with the Eden planet and the god?
I don't think he's gotten to Justice yet.
No, before that one, almost get to Justice.
So I think Justice.
I'm actually the episode that you mentioned with the thingy. In the
finger tree.
That's the finger thingy.
Where no man has gone before. Where no one has gone before. Sorry.
That's the one that I remember, and that's actually one of my favorite. And to be honest, I really liked it.
Good night, Jacob. You probably said this like 10 minutes ago when we've been talking about TNG. You're probably already gone, but good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, but yeah, Where No Man is that's the one where they accidentally use the warp drive and they end up on the other side of the universe.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Picard meets his mother and everything, and that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's for me it was really interesting, and the life form it was like
the Traveler.
To show you, the Traveler. It was like I needed to show you.
Let's just say he makes 2 more appearances in the Next Generation. So
yeah. I'm
He,
on.
he likes Wesley. He likes Wesley creepily enough. So
I hate Wesley. Oh my lord, I hate
Okay.
Will Wheaton.
oh, you're gonna love Data. You're gonna love Data Lore. Then that's episode 14, I think. You're gonna love that episode. That's a great episode, though. By the way,
Is it called? Data Lore?
I love Data.
Yeah.
Data is the goat. He's
just
a
ones and-
beast.
Because
He's a
the official
beast.
name for that episode is just a bunch of ones and zeros.
so Data
Fully
Lore is the
functional.
episode where Picard says, "Shut up, Wesley."
yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I'm on episode 10. I'm on the next Q episode. So
Shut
Oh,
up,
hi-
Wesley.
okay, so
I love
hide
that
and
meme.
Q, yeah. So okay, so did you watch the battle already? The
yeah,
episode
good.
the-
Ooh,
with the
battle
Ferengi,
was good.
the Picard maneuver. Okay.
I love how dorky the Ferengi are, and they're great.
In the last outpost, the Ferengi were like the apes in Planet of the Apes. They were like, "Ah," and then they jump on Riker and they
I'm
start
right
biting
there. I'm
him.
right there. I'm right there. I remember now. I'm right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't finish the Ferengi one.
And they have the
There's
whips.
there's
They
two.
have the electrical
there's
whips.
2 Ferengi episodes.
Mm.
Yeah. So they were trying to set up the Ferengi as like the big bad in this show. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not the big. I mean, they're not the
No.
big bad at all.
No,
Like they become like the capitalist. They become like the token capitalists of the or like capitalism at its worst in Star Trek.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love the Ferengi episodes, especially
They're
the
fun.
DS9 ones. Quark, Armin Shimmerman he can carry the episodes as Quark. Like I love
So-
the character of Quark.
I haven't watched a single episode. The only Star Trek I've seen is
Next Generation.
sporadic episodes of TNG and the original series that
Okay.
that old people have shown me.
Old
So
people.
my dad and a bunch of other people growing up, like a lot of my like mentors in church, were huge Trekkies. And
Yes,
so they,
same.
like
same.
they would like incorporate Star Trek into like their lessons and stuff. Like, okay, watch
Yeah.
this lesson, and then we're going to talk about Jesus, right? Like, so I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of Star Trek. None of it is in order, and it was always either TNG or the original series. But Deep Space Nine is kind of a spin-off of TNG, right?
Dude,
like there's carryover
dude.
characters.
Yeah, and they carry over Chief O'Brien. So Chief O'Brien is carried over from the beginning,
Mm,
and then Worf joins the cast in season 4. And dude,
you're right.
Worf joined the Deep Space Nine. Now they were already solid in my opinion, but Worf made the series even better with in Deep Space Nine. But dude, Deep Space Nine might be the single great. I mean, with the exception of maybe
I've heard it's like
with the exception of
fan
maybe
favorite.
this and Babylon 5, which I also own. Deep Space Nine might be one of the 3 greatest space opera epics I've ever seen in my life. So when people say Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek show, I mean, I say it's my number 2 in terms of favorite because the original series is my
nostalgic
personal favorite. It's my nostalgic favorite, but
Yeah,
in terms of quality and good freaking writing and stuff that will challenge you and such a payoff, like the build up to a major interstellar war with the Dominion. The Dominion are a major threat. They are always 5 steps ahead of everybody. They're always better. And the fact is, like, unlike other races, they manufacture all of their soldiers. So whereas normal people cannot manufacture their soldiers. So it's insane. And yes,
that's a really cool design too. That's good makeup.
And
for
yeah,
the
and Cisco, Captain Cisco, Commander Cisco, Captain Cisco is based as hell. Like he would not put up with those Zoomers or millennials in the Strange New World Starship Enterprise.
Yeah.
Like he would tell them to shut up and do their job. And if they said something stupid, he'd like, don't do it again.
When does he come into TNG?
Go back to the kitchen.
Because we haven't seen him in TNG yet. Cisco.
Cisco's not in TNG.
Oh, okay. He's not.
Yeah,
Who was the carrier? So it was Worf, and who was the other carryover?
Chief O'Brien.
O'Brien. Okay.
So
there's just so many characters, man.
So in the pilot of Deep Space Nine, Captain Patrick Stewart's in it.
Okay.
Picard's in it. And what's interesting about that is Picard and Cisco have met in battle. They have met in battle. Because the Deep Space Nine opens with the Battle of Wolf 359, the battle that we don't see in Best of Both Worlds Part 2. The one that the Enterprise completely missed. And and so Cisco hates Picard because he was Locutus. and they completely copied that animosity with Captain asshole from Chicago, the dipshit from Chicago in Picard season 3. Because hey, why not? Hey, why not?
Hey, okay, Mark Clark. There's no need to get personal here. I am a nerd, but I'm a scavenger nerd. Okay, I rented comic books from the freaking library because I was too poor to buy them.
Yep.
You're showing comic books. I'll show this again.
I have one comic book to my name, and it's the first Wolverine comic book.
Actually,
Literally.
I'm a scavenger. I'm a scavenger nerd. I ate up what I could get.
That's a
And I'm trying to repent now and watch all the stuff that I didn't get.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
I had 1 terabyte of pirated comic books in my computer, and I had to delete them all because I didn't have enough space when I started recording videos. I really regret that. I really regret that. I don't know where to find it anymore, but
I'm
had
almost out of space. I need to buy a fourth hard drive for my computer.
They were all in Spanish, so I don't feel that bad about it. They were all in Spanish, and it's like Spanish. Mexicans, they don't know how to translate from English because they don't like English. They don't care for English. They don't like English. They don't like to learn it. I would argue that and this might sound like weird, but you really have to go to Mexico to understand this. I'm probably the best English speaker in my entire country. I bet you. Better than scholars. I don't have the accent. My accent is pretty clean compared to Mexicans that will talk like this, my man.
You have an accent, but
yeah, I do have a but still
your English is fantastic.
Yeah. But compared to other like immigrants, like Indian immigrants, that you cannot understand a single word they say, and I struggle a lot because sometimes I have to work with them over the phone. I don't understand what they're saying, and I always try my best to make my English clear. But no, for real, my English is legit because I really care about English culture, American culture. I mean, specifically, I really care about the language. I really care about the semantics, and I am always trying to learn new words, and I'm always trying to watch everything in English. And that's the reason why my English is so good, even though I don't study, even though I haven't studied it, my classes in English in Mexico were like red carro, like, rojo carro, red car, and it's like I learned by watching movies. I learned by watching Joe Rogan podcast. That's why I became a conspiracy theorist. I blame that guy for that. Yeah, I believe that in the what the younger dryas and the huge, the what do you call it, the floods, the flooding and the ark and Noah's ark. I do believe on that thing because of that. So that's where I learned English. But when you
are you talking about the episode that he did with that one guy, the
Randall Carson? Yeah. I love Randall Carson. Absolutely love that guy.
Ancient Apocalypse.
And Graham Hancock as well. I love that guy too. But yeah. So I don't trust translations. It's all the time that I go to the movies, I'm always raging at the stream when I read
the subtitles are always wrong.
The subtitles are always wrong because they don't care to learn about the culture and they don't learn the phrases. So when there's a pun or there's a joke, they don't get it. They don't get it. I hate it.
It's the same way the other way around too. Like I'm always critiquing the Spanish subtitles.
Like,
that's not what they said, man.
I didn't know that. I mean, I guess that I should be getting into subtitling or translating because I'm pretty good at it.
Well, Nerdporial's got to go to sleep because we've been talking for 3.5 hours.
Well, thanks for having me. This was a fun time.
You can always leave anytime. Like, we like to talk, but if you need to peace out, you can go.
Yeah, I actually do. It's 11:30. My alarm is set for 5.5 hours from now, so I gotta
go to bed.
Sleep, so.
Add me on Twitter. We can get get the schedule for watching on BC on voice chat on Discord the next generation. Just let me know.
Are you on Discord, Angry? I'll have to add you.
I'm on. I think we're Discord friends.
Well, of course, I think so. I mean,
Let me
how,
watch.
you're
What
the,
is
you
my
DM. You're the. I mean, how would I be
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, I'm on it. I'm on there.
my
I'm on the White Cloaks. I don't understand half of the folders. I didn't know that they were robots running Discord. But thank you so much, Mark Clark.
What do you mean robots running Discord?
There's like bots that run the whole Discord. I got
Yeah.
okay, Mark Clark. Thanks for giving me money. Is great. It could be worse. Nerporial called you Terry Metales. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Ryan Johnson, but then again, that would just be cruel. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm on Discord.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of bots that run the whole thing. They're like, I don't know, half of those categories. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't.
Or there's like the greatest hits category or heroes of the horn, or I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
but
that
add me
means.
on Twitter. The Angry Mexa at the Angry Mexa, and I can like DM you there, and I can pass you the Discord channel because I don't have any idea where my Discord name is.
Okay, I found a few. I found like 3. So is it me X? Or...
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
me X.
Oh, yeah, it is you.
Yeah.
Okay, I added you. I added you. So there you
Nice. Let me refresh it. Oh, it's not showing. There you go. Let's go. Nice. Yeah, we can put the schedule. So and tell me what episode can we start. I can right now I can watch like 3 more so I can get to Justice.
Maybe Data, Data Lore would be a lot of fun to watch.
Let's go. I'm going to get before Data Lord, and then we watch Data Lord, and you can explain about the.
All right.
Shut up, Wesley.
That'd be a great one to watch with people. So all right, cool.
Okay, go to bed. Thanks for so much. Go subscribe to the Nerporial Life Forms channel. Is really, really good.
Watch my latest video about.
Just did a video about the
Galactic Heroes. Probably the best anime ever made, in my opinion.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching that one. There's a lot on my list right now. I'll get to it eventually, I promise.
Same here. I know how you feel, dude. All right, man. All right, guys. Stay Nerporial. Take care.
See you, bro.
I don't have time to make videos. Bye. We'll see. We'll see you next week when we talk about Invincible season. We'll talk about season 1.
Okay.
And the prequel episode.
The prequel, Adam. Yeah.
And then the week after that, we're talking Lightbringer. So, but we'll segment it by spoilers, Mark Clark, and we'll let you know what book we're on.
Yeah, but it's great because I want to watch Invisible, but I never got into it.
It's really
because,
good.
Yeah, I heard it's really good, but I hate the girlfriend. Oh my lord.
Yeah, no, that's the literally the only bad part of the show is the dumb girlfriend that they race swapped and then made insufferable. Like if you're gonna race swap, wouldn't you want the character to be good?
Yeah, but they hate black people. They literally hate the black people. Yeah.
All right. Peace out. Bye.
Yes.
Bye, everybody. See you next week. We'll talk about stuff.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.